pleasure to be your co-host here for the rest of the day. Well, yesterday, of course, we explored the strategic vision shaping Angola's tourism future. And today, we're now going to turn our focus to implementation. However, just before we do that, we are so delighted to announce and witness some MOU signings here live on day 2. So for our first signing, we are absolutely delighted to witness a memorandum of understanding between the Ministry of Tourism Angola and Mangrove Investments Group. So to mark the occasion and for the official signing ceremony, please welcome Alicia Santos, the Director General of Infotour, and Christos Gregorakis, who is the Executive Director of Mangrove Investments Group. A very warm welcome. Please do come on up and take a seat. And now to witness and to mark the occasion, I would now like to welcome the Tourism Minister for Angola, Marcio Daniel. Please do come up. Your Excellency, I'm hoping he might be here. If not, we'll just wait a few minutes. And also to witness the signing as well, I'm absolutely delighted to now welcome Sehab Al-Hijazi, the Chief Strategy Officer for Mangrove Investments Group. Please do go ahead. And yes, just to give you a bit of background, this cooperation aims to facilitate feasibility assessments, institutional coordination, stakeholder engagement, and project preparation activities without creating any commitment regarding final approvals, concessions, financing arrangements, or land allocation. And this is for the structured development of the Cabo Ledo tourism project. Yes, as I mentioned, a proprietary cooperation framework between the Ministry of Tourism Angola and Mangrove Investments Group for the structured development of the Cabo Ledo tourism project. Let's please put our hands together for this wonderful collaboration and huge success for the years ahead. Thank you. Congratulations. Let's put our hands together one more time there. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Ms. Alicia Santos, do stay with us because it is my absolute pleasure to announce this second memorandum of understanding that will be signed with Swiss Hotel Management School, Lucerne. I would like to invite now Professor Martin Barth, Director General, to join us and to sign this very important memorandum to strengthen hospitality education and workforce development in Angola. The aim of this cooperation is to establish a Swiss standard modular hospitality school here. These are one of the best schools in the world, I must say. Now, partnership with existing Angolan universities and training centers. It will also include employment-oriented vocational training programs, trainer-the-trainer initiatives, development of a hotel school model, continuous professional education, seminars, quality assurance and certification systems. Quite an extraordinary thing and development. If Minister Marcio is here, I know he's very busy, he's our host. We do invite him to come and witness this signing. Yes, he is. Minister, you are there? Yes, just to witness. Yeah. Should we watch and see if it's all signed? Professor Barth? So it's not just the talk. We have some concrete results now taking place. Please give the round of applause for this cooperation as well. Thank you. Your Excellency, Minister, please do stay with us because I want to announce the next signing, the next Memorandum of Understanding, and I would like to invite Chairman of Rika's Properties, Sheikh Khalid Al-Ghatani, to join us to sign the Memorandum of Cooperation with Rika's Properties. This cooperation will explore and develop tourism-related investment opportunities in Angola. Key areas of cooperation, of course, when I say RICAS, you must assume it's hotel and resort development, integrated tourism destinations and waterfront projects, ecotourism, sustainable infrastructure, coastal tourism, urban tourism, MICE infrastructure, as we heard yesterday, very important as well. This will also include the transfer of knowledge in urban planning and project management as well. Ladies and gentlemen, please round of applause for this important Memorandum of Understanding as well. Congratulations once again for this outstanding.
And Alicia, please do stay with us as we very much like to get a photo opportunity with the Minister, with Mangrove Investments Group. So please do come back up so we can mark the occasion with an official photograph. Please welcome Christos Gregorakis. Please do come up once again so that we may mark the occasion, as I mentioned, with a photograph. And Mr. Sahab Al-Hajazi, Chief Strategy Officer of Mangrove Investments Group. Yes, we witnessed the signing earlier of a proprietary cooperation framework between the Ministry of Tourism Angola and the Mangrove Investments Group for the structured development of the Cabo Ledo tourism project. Yes, maybe we could bring the documents back so that we could just get that in the photograph. That might be a good idea. Wonderful, we have them just here. And yes, as mentioned, the corporation aims to facilitate feasibility assessments, institutional coordination, stakeholder engagement, and project preparation activities. Let's put our hands together one more time, and a huge, huge congratulations there to the Ministry of Tourism Angola and to the Mangrove Investments Group. That was our final MOU signing. I'm now going to throw over to Nafisa, who will be starting our first discussion of the day.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Laura. We will proceed now with our first panel of the second day. It will actually be my conversation with someone who can advise in many ways about the strategy when it comes to tourism development in Angola. Let's just wait a couple of seconds before we start with that panel, but do stay with us in the conference room. We have very exciting day ahead of us, many interesting panels as well. Thank you once again, Your Excellencies. Thank you. No, it's okay. Thank you, Minister. Thank you. I'll see you a bit later. We have more memorandums of understanding coming up, but let's proceed with our panels. Now, as we heard yesterday, Africa is often described as the continent of the future. But the thing is, the future is no longer something that we are waiting for. After we've heard yesterday messages coming from this conference, this future is already happening. I'm delighted now to welcome Mr. Osama Al-Altman, a globally recognized tourism and investment expert whose work has focused on developing world-class destinations and attracting investments. So if you want to get to business, this is the man of the hour. Please give him a round of applause, please. Welcome, Osama.
How are you?
Good.
Over here.
Mr. Al-Altman, I mentioned the future. Is this moment, Africa's moment, taking place as we speak? The one that we waited for so long.
Okay, let me start with this. Look, I think whoever thinks or used to think of the African continent, and let's start at a very high altitude, as a continent of tomorrow, I think they're definitely wrong. Africa is the continent of today, and it is happening as we see. And we at Noro, we look at destinations that we can be developed, the potential. We look at the fundamentals, but we also look at the data. Data is extremely important for us. And if you look at the GDP in Africa, it's growing between 4 and 4.5%. If you look at the population, it's expected to almost double in 20 years' time. The average age is around 25. Okay, well, all of those are success elements for the tourism. And those are the fundamentals of the African continents today. And if we want to reduce our altitude a little bit and look at the tourism, I mean, 2025, the number of tourists has grown by 8% in Africa, which that's remarkable. I mean, compared globally, the African tourism market is expected to be doubled from its current level, around 30 billion to around 50 billion in 15 years' time. So all of those are good indicators, okay, from an investment perspective.
I want to talk about Angola now. What we witnessed in the last couple of days, it has stunning beaches, wildlife, storytelling, culture, authenticity, I would say, which is one of the main things that travelers are looking for these days. How can Angola use these assets and become a tourism destination that everyone's going to talk about?
I mean, if we look at Angola, Angola enjoys approximately around 1,600 kilometers of waterfront coastal line that is pretty much undeveloped yet. It's a rare case. I mean, we don't see this around the world a lot. It has the second largest waterfalls. It has the desert. So definitely it's a 360 touristic destination for any tourists. All of those are good fundamentals. And it's a rare case yet, because if you look at the tourism today, and again, we are driven by data. I mean, the tourism today contribution to the Angolians' GDP is quite low. It's below 2%. So this means that the potential is still massive. Okay? And again, because of what we do, we look everything from an angle of the investments. So all of those are good indicators.
If you're advising a country like Angola if they hire you as your strategist. How can the country use these assets? What would be the strategy that you would recommend to them? What are the best, let's say, global practices from your experience that have been proved efficient so far?
Look, if we are honored to be part of the Angolan story, I mean, even if we contribute a small part to the success, because, look, I mean, looking at the tourism activities led by His Excellency, Angola is on the right track. Okay. Now, my advice, my humble advice would be is there is a period, first of all, is the nation needs to be patient in developing their tourism strategy. There is probably 1 to 4 years. The first 4 years is where needs to be focused on, quote unquote, the frictionless experience of the travelers, the air connectivity. Those are all essentials, ingredients for a successful tourism destination. At the same time, is focus on probably in the first, again, 4 years on developing 2 to 3, if I may, signature tourism zones. And that can be wildlife, waterfalls, and coastal line. Because Angola needs to focus first on probably the low volume, high value tourists. Because this segment gives the credibility, okay, and finance the brand of Angola, okay. After that, then Angola can start targeting the middle-class travelers, that they will finance the working capital of the tourism. So with that strategy, is definitely Angola needs the 2 segments, okay? But it's a matter of sequencing, okay? Going into a high volume touristic strategy creates a burden on developing the infrastructure of the country. Okay, the low value gives the credibility and kind of focus the infrastructure development into a micro infrastructure, into the destinations, the zones, the identified touristic zones.
You know, global tourism investment is becoming so competitive. So many countries want exactly what Angola wants as well. So how can this country particularly stand out?
I mean, if you look at the latest studies and surveys of the tourists globally, there is approximately around 80% of the participants where they say culture, authentics, those are extremely important. And Angola has that. I mean, we've been here. This is my first visit to Angola. I've been here for 2 days. I have seen a beautiful culture, okay? So that's one angle. The second thing is people also look at, it's not anymore, everybody's competing on the same ground, but it's not anymore about the asset that you are building. It is about the experience that you can offer, how much you can personalize, the traveler or the tourist can personalize his trip or his experience. That is extremely essential. Okay, it's more important from the asset that you are building. And Africa in general, Angola in particular, have this in their DNA. So that ingredient, important ingredient, is already available.
So practically, when the government asks a strategy from you and from your experience, they usually want to know also what will be their main challenges. When we talk not just about Angola, but Africa in general, what do you see as the main obstacles in achieving those tourism goals and growth?
Probably the first challenge I would say is the air connectivity.
Connectivity.
Connectivity. Yeah. You know, that is, I think that is a challenge that is across Africa. That needs to be addressed, and a solution needs to be there. Inter-Africa connectivity is also, that's something that needs to be addressed. Then we come to the what I call the frictionless experience, i.e. the visas. I mean, I had wonderful experience in the visa. Now, when I came here, I mean, I didn't have to apply for a visa or anything. I mean, I just came to the airport, got my passport stamped, and left. That needs to be widened, okay, and make that process much easier to the. So those probably the fundamentals, okay, for a successful tourism strategy. Then you go into what you are building and the investment that you're going to inject into this. So, and how you can attract the FDIs, the foreign investments into that. As one thing is what I call is a one-stop shop. Okay, I mean, investors, when they go to a different, or when they go outside of their natural boundaries, is they look at the ease of doing the business, how much easy for us to get the permits, licensing, everything else. Land concessions. Land is extremely important, okay, for the investors. Last but not least is the governance. And when I say about the governance, it's mainly I'm talking about governance and risk mitigations. Okay, some risk framework needs to be put together, and anti-corruption framework needs to be there. All of this gives the investor the comfort. As a second stage, then you can start talking about, you know, tax relief, you know, the triple P framework and structure and everything else. But the first three are the fundamentals that you need to focus on.
Well, we spoke briefly before this panel, and you mentioned something very interesting, and that is the good strategy would be also focusing on certain areas. Would that be a good choice for Angola to maybe focus on certain parts of the country first? Would that make the results feel like they're coming faster than we are used to?
Yeah, I mean, look, Angola is a widespread country, and if you're going to say that, look, we're going to develop a tourism in everything, in every area, that is kind of exhausting mission, if I may say. So 2 to 3 as an initial, 2 to 3 touristic zones that needs to be selected carefully, that they're pretty much unique to Angola, would be a good start and a takeoff point from that point.
And let me conclude this with asking you, you know, every good strategy means you're following the trends. The latest traveler trends are showing that everyone's looking now for authenticity. They're looking for something more than just to come into a resort and stay there. They want experience.
Yes.
Can Angola has all that? Yeah. Can they use this momentum?
Yeah, I mean,
everything is working towards them, I would say.
Exactly.
The trends are saying that.
I mean, look, is again, today when a tourist travels, it is not what I have seen, it is what when I left this destination, what did I take with me, okay? And that is culture, authentics, food, okay? Traditions, art, all of that plays a factor in them. And also, I mean, like the latest study shows that the tourists today are they are willing to pay more for a personalized service. Okay, and Angola has it. I mean,
what will you take from this trip to Angola? What will be your first association?
What would be my first one?
Yeah, association with Angola now. What would be the first thing?
First of all, people are extremely friendly.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to say, I mean, the Angolians, the people here are always smiley, very helpful, and what I felt personally is like the hospitality is in their blood, it's in their DNA, okay? This is extremely important. And it's definitely, that's my first trip, but definitely it's not gonna be my last.
Thank you so much, Osama Al-Altman, founder and managing director of Nuru. Thank you so much for this conversation. Thank you so much. Now, let's move on and explore how coastal tourism and maritime infrastructure can drive economic growth. Please welcome Wael Joujou, founder and chief executive officer, V Marine Bahrain. He will have a presentation for you. So he is taking over the floor. Good luck, Wael, and I'll see you a little bit later.
Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Wael Joujou, the founder of V Marine, and we're behind launching a new initiative that repositions nautical tourism as part of the arena or part of the investments that we're talking about. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone, attentions, and the incredible amount of positive energy that we have already gained. So before I say what I came and I know, I would like to say what I have left learning. In this forum, I have seen an incredible level of energy, positivity, leadership. Thank you to Your Excellency, Mario, Daniel, and the rest of the partners and the ministers, former and current, who have shown a very interesting collaboration. And we have seen a demonstration of major problems and opportunities being solved by addressing them in an open way. The same way I would like to put on the table what nautical tourism have been missing, not only in Angola, not only in Africa, but probably worldwide. Everybody, without a single doubt, if you ask, as a tourist, would you like to have an overnight over a yacht? Without a single doubt, 99%, to be fair, would say yes. And when we look at a little bit more, how many of these 99% have got the experience of the yes? Less than 1%. So if we are in the tourism business and we are trying to be consciously building the experience, the story, and the opportunity around the needs of the tourist, I think on the level of the nautical tourism, we have failed miserably. Such an interesting demand, 99%, to be converted into 1%, there is something wrong with the format. We have to revise what nautical tourism could be. How is it important since the demand is? We're not talking about a little plus, we're talking about a big must. So when we address the yachts as part of the nautical tourism, we are talking about the 70% connection of the land. A little bit of basics numbers. As everybody would know that 70% of the body is water. Everybody knows that we feel good when we go to the water. Everybody knows 70% of the world is water. And yet, not even 1% have touched that level. A fantastic saying of Your Excellency, you said, tourism is the green oil of Angola, which is an amazing description. We would like to add one color, if possible, the blue. The blue oil is really something that it is to look at, and it's the water. It's not far, it's simple, it's not expensive, and it is part of every country. We got to know, or we got used to see the water as a backdrop, as a waterfront, and this is something that we look at see. Because probably master planners, developers have missed the idea that we can build on the water, and we can take the experience not to where the people they like, which is the waterfront, but basically on the water. And living on the water is far different than the waterfront. And I'll show you examples later on. So we assumed, we asked, if we would like to have an experience, we would like to live on a yacht sometime, it should be as simple as going to a hotel. It shouldn't be a small company doing charter in a small part of a marina with a little bit of hassle and a lot of conditions, a lot of information. It should be you go to any booking.com or any similar entity, and that you can have the option. Either it's a city, it's a villa, or it's a boat. And that should be as simple. And once we start to put that attractive product into the large format of the tourism, then definitely we're going to change two things. Tourism, connectivity, and the industry of nautical tourism will start to have a platform to start. So this is basically what it could look like a hotel. And this is no limitation of any technicality. The simplicity it is, we just have to not to reinvent the wheel, but rather only shape the corners, and then we can get a new product on the market. Currently, when we spoke about nautical tourism or waterfront, we get this situation, and I call it the vertical paradox, because as long as the sea is beautiful, everybody wants it. They have a small stretch, about 100 meters, which is the most expensive part of the land, and then behind it, it becomes a wall, and behind the wall, there is almost less value or no value for the real estate. And then when we look at the traditional, the water is the reason why all this plot is important. And what is the value of the water? Nobody has quantified how to use it and to industrialize it. It has a high value, but has a no price. And this paradox is a problem that has been probably solved in a better way in Maldives. Rather than having vertical walls, Maldives is actually a very problematic, geography. We look at it as Maldives as a fantastic, good, easy, and everybody wants to go. They make 3-4 million of tourists. But actually, there was a reason why it has changed. Not the nature. The nature is very difficult. Scattered 1,000+ island is not easy to bring the 3 million tourists. The product, over-water villa, has become the Maldivian signature. The people, they look at it and they feel, I want to have this experience. I want to live on the water. I want to have a yachting feeling. And unfortunately, for different reasons, very few have copied that very smart model. In other places, there is another type of challenges. Venice, for example. Venice is in a disaster description. Venice is in flooding mode. Venice is very uneasy to manage. So rather than doing a land reclamation, putting sands, putting traffic lights, multi-level stories of cars, they have lived with the problem that became the touristic attraction. So when we understand our environment, and especially from the water side, especially for islands or for long coastal countries, and we look at it in a different way, out of the box, the chances of turning a problem into a huge opportunity like Venice is a 10 million visitor at least. Another case, Amsterdam. Amsterdam, they have a large number of tourists, but they are in short of a living space. So they have employed the floating properties as a solution that became touristic attraction and a fundamental solution to serve the tourism. Another example we can look at, not only you can have a problem, but you can have an additional integration of a floating properties. Why don't you put, rather than building on the mountain, why don't you float your villas? Very simple way and very nice way. You made connectivity, you added value, you embedded in the nature, and you have an iconic destination that we haven't seen. And probably we haven't seen is because it has not been branded among our luxury hotel operators or the industry pillars. Then we have the best example, what Saudi is doing. In Saudi, they're taking every beautiful example, successful model around the world, and not only copying it, but elevating it to a completely new level. They're raising the bar to a level that becomes a little bit difficult, and we can look at these beautiful floating suites similar to Maldives in a different level, and they look so futuristic that we can always feel that they're going to fly. Saying the word fly is not really far from a boat. And this technology we're going to see it next year. One of the problems of islands that they are very attractive, everybody loved them, and nobody could really deal with islands and coastal is connectivity, which is the problem of many touristic or many infrastructural problems around the world. The company Region based in US, they have came with a concept, probably one of the most important invention of the century, that they allowed boats to fly. This is a boat that flies, it's not a plane. And I say that because it belongs to the boating industry, less complicated, less expensive, very safe. It operates 24 hours. It is sustainable. It is only on batteries. It can go up to 500 kilometers on a one charge at a speed of 300 kilometers. Saying that at some time very soon, traveling between islands and coastal value that was untapped is going to become almost like a taxi rate. And once I say that, we are looking at whatever was expensive is going to be more interesting, and whatever was less value of islands is going to have the natural value. Now we can build hotels, we can have resorts, we can have boats accessible in masses, and we can know that it's going to be driven by not only more than 1%, but we're going to grow. Once we're going to fly, we're going to go to land somewhere, and this is what we're doing. We're doing floating terminals. And we are already anticipating that the next 5 years, not only the next 20 days, the next 5 years are going to witness the embedding of this technology. Boats will be part of our life, yachts will be part of our experience, and traveling over the waters and islands is going to become the common norm for a lot of more tourists. So floating islands will allow you to take a boat plane and jump to your beach club. And beach clubs have no longer need to be connected to the land. They could be floating anywhere. They could be designed on any size, any type. And the imagination will just limit your integration in the water. Going back to the very important, famous Monaco. Needless to mention that whenever we say Monaco, we immediately know that it's yachts. And the interesting part, Monaco, with its own global success, and the yachts integrated part of it, we're talking only about a 4-kilometer coast. This is probably one of the shortest coasts in the world, and it has the reach of the whole global. The yachts and Monaco, the integration, the architecture, the philosophy, the tourism plan, have repositioned Monaco as the center of the world and as an ambassador of all yachting. Should we say that this is, yes, it is famous and the yachts are there because it is the place of the rich? Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe because the marinas operated, it became the place of the rich. Should we consider every coastal we are catering for the 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star as a precondition? I would say no. If you want to complete the chain and to have the whole investors attraction, you need to look at that 1%. And that 1% is not a plus. That 1% is the must. Should you have that 1%, you'll get the 99% that we are missing to take them into the nautical tourism. Angola, again, look at this beautiful place. 1,650 kilometers of coast. Again, this is really the blue oil. This is really the opportunity. And it is so vast, so big, that I have never seen in the world 4 types of coastals. 4. You got the urban, you got the beach, you got the rocky, and you got the desert meeting the sea. These are incredible photos that rarely people have seen, let alone that nobody has went to. Should we consider nautical tourism in the new format? This is the wealth, and this is the opportunity that everybody would seek to develop. And in a very humble belief that I think that as long we have been building on the 30% and all the efforts and the money and the vision was guided to the land, I think the next big opportunities are going to be floating. I would like to invite you to show you a little bit of a sample of a video that we have planned to show you what could be on a tourism, on a hospitality level, built on the water that we have not seen before. Could you play the video, please?
where investment meets innovation, where vision becomes reality. Join global leaders, investors, policymakers, and industry pioneers at the Global Tourism Foreign Investment Summit Angola. Discover one of Africa's most
Thank you. Again, saying thank you for everybody. I hope the attention and I could deliver the message. Leaving you with an option, anytime that you see a blue water, it's not the backdrop. It's not the end of the land. It's the start of a tourism new activity. Nautical tourism in the new format could be the place to start at Angola. Thank you so much.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, truly impressive look there at nautical tourism and the wonderful opportunities here in Angola. Thank you so much once again to Wael Juju, the founder and CEO of V Marine. Thank you. Absolutely brilliantly done. Well, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm now absolutely delighted to welcome our next guest for an official statement. Please welcome Siazongo Sia Kalenga, the Deputy Secretary of the Zambia President for Finance and Economic Affairs. A very warm welcome.
Good morning to you. Perhaps allow me to recognize the presence of the Minister of Tourism in the Republic of Angola. May I also take this opportunity to recognize the other cabinet ministers who may be in our midst this morning. Distinguished leaders of international organizations present, captains of industry, and esteemed investors, distinguished delegates, the media, ladies and gentlemen. It is my distinct honor to represent Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, the President of the Republic of Zambia, at this landmark Global Tourism Forum Investment Summit here in Luanda, Angola. Excellencies, allow me to commend the government of the Republic of Angola, the World Tourism Forum Institute, and the UN Tourism for convening this timely investment summit. We salute His Excellency Joao Lourenço for his leadership in positioning Angola as a rising tourism hub. And this is why we are here this morning. It's because of the vision of the Republican President of Angola. He has done a commendable job. We also recognize the efforts of our African partners in advancing tourism as a driver of sustainable development in Africa. Tourism is more than leisure. It is a strategic pillar for economic diversification, job creation, and cultural exchange. For Zambia, tourism is inseparable from our broader national priorities, such as infrastructure development, climate resilience, and regional integration. We see tourism as a bridge between economic growth and humanitarian imperatives, offering communities both opportunity and dignity. Zambia is renowned for its rich wildlife, spectacular waterfalls, diverse landscapes, and vibrant cultural heritage. The country is home to the Might Victoria Falls, one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, and among the most spectacular waterfalls on earth. Probably at this point in time, Honorable Minister of Tourism of the Republic of Angola, please allow me to indicate that in Zambia, if you came, you would have an opportunity not only of visiting the Might Victoria Falls, but you can also experience walking side by side with a lion. And after walking side by side with a lion, Honorable Minister, you will still be able to take a drive to the airport and fly back to Angola. It is an experience, Honorable Minister, which you might not wish to miss in life. Excellencies, distinguished guests, the focus of the summit on connectivity, hospitality, investment, and MICE development resonates strongly with the development agenda of Zambia. We are investing in aviation links, modern conference facilities, and destination branding to ensure that Lusaka, Livingstone, and our natural heritage sites remain competitive in the global marketplace. At that same time, we emphasize community-based tourism, ensuring that local populations benefit directly from investment flows. Perhaps at this point in time, Honorable Minister of Tourism in the Republic of Angola, allow me to mention that in Zambia, we do have Luena National Park, which is not very far away from here. It should be the second largest home for wildebeest migrations, second only to Serengeti and Masai Mara, though in the Luena National Park, Honorable Minister, you have an opportunity of viewing more game than you would otherwise do if you are in the Masai Mara National Park. You will not only be seeing the wildebeests, but you will also be seeing the other big 5. And I can assure you, Honorable Minister, there are large prides of lions that would be at your disposal, and they would be doing modeling in your presence for many hours without interfering with your viewing, even if you were to be less than 10 meters away from them. You would still be in a position to walk away without being disturbed. Honorable Minister, Excellencies, distinguished guests, Zambia believes that African solidarity is essential. Tourism must be developed not in isolation, but through continental cohesion, such as shared infrastructure, harmonized policies, and cross-border packages that allow visitors to experience Africa as one destination. I'm sure, Honorable Minister, you may be aware that we have reached advanced stages in ensuring that direct flights between Angola and Zambia are re-established, probably during the course of this year. In this regard, Zambia stands ready to deepen cooperation from joint marketing initiatives to integrated transport corridors. We also highlight the importance of public-private partnerships and innovative financing. Development banks, sovereign funds, and private capital must align with the national strategies to unlock the tourism potential of Africa. Zambia welcomes collaboration with FSDEA of Angola, Standard Bank Angola, and other partners represented here today. Finally, Honorable Minister, tourism must remain sustainable and inclusive. It must protect our environment, empower women and youth, and preserve our cultural heritage. In that connection, Zambia calls for a collective roadmap that balances investment with responsibility, ensuring that tourism becomes a true engine of prosperity for all Africans on the African continent. With these few remarks, Honorable Minister, allow me to take this opportunity to thank you in person and the government and people of the Republic of Angola and the distinguished invited guests that have been here with us this morning. I thank you.
Yes, a huge thank you to Sia Zongo, Sia Kalenga, Deputy Secretary of the Zambia President for Finance and Economic Affairs. What a great pleasure to have you here with us today. And thank you so much once again for your words of encouragement there. Thank you. Well, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, today's travelers are increasingly seeking experiences rather than individual attractions, apparently. And integrated destinations that combine hospitality, culture, entertainment, sustainability, and community engagement are very much becoming the benchmark for success. So our next discussion here today is going to explore how destinations can create lasting value through holistic development. And I'm absolutely delighted to now welcome our next panel. So let's give a very warm welcome to Vincent Snauwert, who is the Head of Government Relations and Destinations at TUI Group. A very warm welcome. Vincent, I'm hoping is here. Yes, he is here with us today. Next up, we have Professor Martin Barth, Director of International Business Development and Strategic Partnerships at SHL. Welcome. Do you come on up? Very warm welcome. And rounding out our panel, we're delighted to have Kashyap Coxey, who is the Senior Vice President and Managing Director of Global Partnerships at Global Humane Society. Welcome to Kashyap. And now to lead discussions, I'm delighted to welcome Michael B. Christides, the Ambassador Secretary General of Black Sea Economic Cooperation Organization. Welcome to Michael. Over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Laura. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me first of all to thank the organizers of this stupendous event, the Minister, Mr. Bulut Bakci, for inviting me to be here with you today. I'm a retired Greek ambassador who has spent almost 44 years in promoting the understanding and better relations among people and states. And during these 44 years of experience, I found out that perhaps the most effective vehicle to achieve this better understanding and cooperation is tourism. It is the exchange of visits by people. So I even thought that being an ex-diplomat, that it was the first level of confidence-building mechanism, a mechanism we so dearly need in our turbulent world of today. So I'm very happy and honored to moderate this panel with our distinguished guests. To tell you the truth, dear gentlemen, I thought that after the first day of this very important event, there is very little to add how to promote better tourism in its form of today. I say that because there is no doubt that tourism is being transformed. It is not just a collection of resorts fenced out from the locals, but it is a whole ecosystem that unites entities, people, and especially, allow me to underline this, the locals. If you don't engage the locals in the whole tourism procedure, then I believe that your efforts will have failed. And we have a lot to do in that respect, because the UN tells us that from $100 spent on tourism in a developing country, merely 5% remain at the global level. So with this in mind, I'm sure that our distinguished guests will have a lot to say on that. How do we transform what we knew until today as the best tourism model into this ecosystem, touristic ecosystem that includes so many factors? I will start with you first, Vincent.
Well, thank you, Ambassador, for these words. Thank you also to Minister Daniel for inviting us here in Angola, a wonderful country. We have already very good impressions, so thank you very much for that. Indeed, the word has been used a lot, the word ecosystem. It is an important word, I think, because ecosystems do matter. We have also heard the word air connectivity a lot yesterday, so I would also like to get back to that later on. You have two types of ecosystems. You have the economic ecosystem, but also the social ecosystem. What is part of that ecosystem? We think that you should actually keep a lot of parties, a lot of actors happy with tourism in order for it to succeed. The first group and the foremost is indeed the local citizens. These should, they should embrace tourism. They should accept tourism and they should benefit from tourism. And that automatically keeps the second group happy, which is actually the travelers, also very important. They should feel welcome. That is very important for us at TUI, that our tourists, our guests, feel embraced by the local population, by the culture, and in order to take everything in the best possible way. Another group that needs to be kept very happy are, of course, the workers in tourism. The workers, and you're a former ambassador, but workers are maybe even the best ambassador for a nation to show what their country has to offer to the traveler, what culture it has to show to them. And two other parts, which are not persons, but which are more other forms of ecosystems that should be kept happy, is indeed the broader economy. The country should benefit from tourism overall. It should be a force for good for its citizens living in it. And of course nature, because you have a beautiful country here in Angola. Please keep it beautiful. Don't let tourism spoil it. Tourists should see the country, not change the country in itself, I think. Yeah.
Thank you very much. This gives me the right answer to go with a question to my dear old friend, Professor Martin Barth. Martin, I think that Africa and Angola especially have a huge advantage trying to develop today their tourism industry, in the sense that we see the so-called matured world in the sector of tourism that are facing today some very severe problems of sustainability, of infrastructure, of over-tourism, and so on. Whereas Africa and Angola do not face these problems. How would you, let us say, advise Africa and Angola to start with all these lessons at hand their fledgling tourism industry?
Thank you very much, Ambassador Michael. Let me start as well by saying thank you to the government of Angola and especially to His Excellency Minister Marcio for setting up, for organizing, for delivering such an important summit here in Luanda. The fact that His Excellency, the President himself, was opening this summit yesterday is actually a very strong sign. And I think it's witnessing was two of my very good friends, Najib Balala, the former Minister of Tourism from Kenya, now Vice President of WTTC, and also my very good friend, former Minister Abulfas in Azerbaijan mentioned, tourism is not just a sun, fun, and beach industry. It's a real economy. It's a strong economy. It's a powerful economy. An economy who can create a lot of jobs for young people. It can create growth, health, and economic stability. And the sign that the President himself opened this summit, I think, is a very important and strong sign. And I think that shows the importance and the interests of the whole government to move tourism forward. Now, a lot has been said this morning, yesterday. Let me maybe try to summarize in my own words how I see what maybe the ingredients for a successful integrated tourism destinations are. Of course, it needs a good and seamless accessibility. You need a good infrastructure, of course. You need good transportation within the country. You may need a better Wi-Fi, just what my colleague mentioned yesterday. For international guests, you need a good Wi-Fi, but that's probably easy to achieve. you need a good cuisine. The country has to be safe, secure, clean. I think this is like a little bit a given fact. It needs to have a clear positioning and a clear marketing. When we talk about positioning, I think that's very important. I mean, what does that mean? For me, positioning means, and Angola has to answer this question as well, where are we better than our competitors? What can we do better than other destinations? Where are we a champion in? And I give you 2 reasons why this is very important, I think. First is, and it brings me back to my friend Abulfas and Najib Balala, you have to convince the government, and especially your colleague, the Minister of Finance, where to invest. And if you have a clear vision where you want to go and what your strategy is, it's much easier to convince your colleague, the Minister of Finance, to invest in this or in that direction. Because you will not have the money to become the best MICE destination, the best family destination, a luxury destination. You have to, in a way, focus that people realize what you are presenting, who you are, what you want to be. And the second important point for the positioning is the locals, the citizens. If they understand what you want to achieve and they think that's correct because you build on existing values, or not on artificial words, they will support you. They want to work in that industry, and that's very important that you always try to also convince the people, the locals, what you're going to do. Of course, all of this, having said all this has to be in balance with nature, with culture, and especially with the people living here. Najib Balala mentioned a very important point yesterday. Kenya managed to have around 50% of domestic travel. I'm Swiss. We also have 50% domestic travel. Why is that so important? Because if the borders are closed, if you have a pandemic, these are the ones who will stay. These are the ones who will go and create overnight stays. So whatever you do, whatever you build, you not only build it for the foreigners, you build it for your own people, that they can experience that. And that's the reason why they also, of course, need to afford that. So it's maybe not just luxury. That's very important. But to be very honest, what makes the difference, and I don't want to blame anybody in that room, is not the real estate, is not the building, is not the hotel, is not a good bed, is not a good light, is not a good breakfast in the morning. It's all about people. The difference make the people serving you, the people with a smile in the morning when you come down at the reception, the people who will understand and see your needs, the people who transform the values of your country. And therefore, I have to say, I'm sometimes a little bit astonished that we talk a lot about real estate, about bricks and mortar, about buildings, but shouldn't we talk about investing in human capital? Shouldn't we talk and to talk early enough? I mean, the good example yesterday was your colleague yesterday who said TUI is coming soon with operations with hotels in Angola, and they're going to have a school, a hospitality school. And we are already in contact. We will have breakfast tomorrow morning, early in the morning, to see how we can find synergies. They have the operations, the hotels. We can help them as SHL, the Swiss Hospitality School in Switzerland, to run a school. When His Excellency the Minister, Marcio, in March in ITB, he presented, and it was fantastic, don't misunderstand, it was, I think, the right projects based on a strategy, on a positioning, all these projects coming up. I approached him and said, Your Excellency, congratulations, but who is going to take care about the human capital? And he was very quick as his answer. He said, you will. And he invited me today to this conference, to this summit. You witnessed this morning, we signed a memorandum of understanding. So he understood the importance of not just building, and again, don't misunderstand me, it's important to have the infrastructure, but more important to have early enough a pipeline, a talent pipeline. So my message would be to investors, to government, to operators as well, take care early enough that you have a strong talent pipeline. And this doesn't mean you need a bachelor and a master and a PhD. No, not at all. When we as SHL work with countries, and we have a lot of other countries, we are in discussion of have projects. I think Shongi Africa from Rwanda Development Board is here. My very good friend Barbara, minister from Zimbabwe. We talk with Uganda, but also with in Saudi Arabia, in Oman, in Indonesia, in Georgia. We analyze carefully the market. Where are the needs? Where are the gaps? And then we come up with a customized modular system with exits after each year. And the ones who want, they can come to Switzerland and do a bachelor. So I think my message is, again, take care early enough about human capital, about talents, because they make the difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Bach. Thank you very much. If I was an Angolan, I would be very, very happy having signed a memorandum of understanding and cooperation with Professor Bath, an expert in what concerns tourism, education, hospitality, innovation. But now, next to our other speaker, Dr. Choksi, let me underline that Dr. Choksi is the Managing Director of Global Partnerships at Global Humane Society. And this is a society mainly dealing with the welfare of animals. You might ask, what do animals have to do with tourism? Well, especially in Africa and in Angola, I think with this wealth in wildlife, it would be very, very helpful to all of us to hear what you are already doing or you could do in order to have a modus of living together, humans and animals. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. Thank you to the Ministry of Angola. Thank you to the organizers. But mostly, thank you to the warm welcome provided to us by the people of Angola. It has not gone unnoticed. Beautiful. Now, Global Humane Society is the international brand of American Humane Society, which, as the ambassador pointed out, is America's oldest nonprofit organization working in the sphere of animal welfare. We will be celebrating 150 years next year. Some of you may have heard about us. In fact, I would guarantee you that almost all of you have experienced our work in the past and current and the future. What I mean by that is, if any one of you has seen a Hollywood movie and with animal actors in it, at the end of the movie, there's a line which we call the end credits. No animals were harmed in the making of this movie. That's us. That's a brand. We've been doing it for more than 85 years. That program is one of our flagship programs, and that's now gone into certification of all things animal-related, including the animal protein we eat. We certify, for example, about 85% of America's cage-free eggs, broiler chickens, turkeys. We also certify 85 zoos and aquariums around the world in 18 countries as of last week, and we're just growing. And the reason I mention these different programs, which are what we call the certification programs, is that we certify according to what the latest in science and evidence tells us as what's best for the animal safety and well-being. So this is just a part of what we do and who we are. We also have a lot of other programs on rescue work, which actually originated in 1915 in the battlefields of Europe. We have a program that also alleviates the issues related to traumatic brain injury and PTSD amongst military veterans. So we train dogs called canines, a canine program. And we also have programs that work with small companion animals, dogs and cats, as pets. So we have a lot of different programs, and in a way, I apologize since I'm trying to fit 150 years of a history and work and programs in a few minutes, but I'll do my best. This is just a starter. Now, why Africa? Actually, we have established an office in the Eastern Cape in South Africa, in Port Elizabeth. And it's an organization, another nonprofit, that we are calling ourselves Global Humane Conservation Fund of Africa. We have been working with a lot of partners and organizations in different countries in Western and Southern Africa, including in Zimbabwe, in Kenya, in Rwanda, and in South Africa, and in Uganda. We're working, for example, around drilling of wells for elephants in Hwangwe Park in Zimbabwe. We have provided funding and working with researchers, conservationists, if you will, in Murchison Falls in Uganda, especially in the breeding of mountain bongos. As some of you know, we only have about 100 of them left in the wild. We also have been working with SANCOB, which is a premier institution for the rescue, rehab, and release of African penguins, which again is an endangered species. And these are just examples. We have many, many other more programs. But why tourism, and why are we interested in this particular field? Because in many ways, as the world changes and as traveler, 3 points I want to make here. As the world changes and as traveler preferences are also changing, the values are changing, especially when we talk about the younger generation, whether it's millennials or Gen Z, they're all demanding and increasingly making choices when it comes to accommodations and experiences in tourism, which are more related to the values, whether it's conservation, animal welfare, sustainability, and so on. And so they're making a choice. Second, in many ways, one could say that animal welfare is part and parcel of the world of hospitality. And if you think about tourism in general, and we sort of segmentize tourism in many ways, we're talking about accommodation, we're talking about transportation, we're talking about dining, we're talking about recreation, entertainment. I mentioned recreational example in terms of zoos, aquariums. They are actually all related to animal welfare. So if we think about it more broadly, in many ways, it provides us, and as tour operators and people in this tourism industry, with both an opportunity as well as in terms of an awareness that what can be done to get a competitive edge. Because I think the person who gets certified, when I say person, I'm talking about tourism entity, I think has more of a option in terms of doing better than the competitors. In fact, we have certified properties in what we call an ecotourism program in different parts of Africa. We have certified safari lodges actually, one in the Chobe River. We have also certified Zambezi Queen on the Chobe in the Zambezi River. We have certified the penguin facility I just mentioned, SANCOB, Raggy Charters, which does whale watching. I mean, these are again examples of how the tourism industry can take advantage of certification as a third point here, as a certification as a business, I guess, appreciation. If a business in the tourism sector is trying to build its brand, if it's trying to maintain its brand, if it's trying to gain the trust of the travelers, the clients, the customers, I think this is going to be more in alignment with the future world of travel. So, having a dimension of animal welfare in the world of conservation writ large, I think this is something that we believe in and something that we hope the world will also follow.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Choksi. We heard very much about employment. And I would like to ask you, Vincent, do you believe that tourism could help reverse brain drain by creating opportunities for young, talented Africans, Angolans, to stay in their place and work, or even have young Africans and Angolans return to their own countries in order to find employment, good employment, well-paid employment, because of tourism development in their countries. Can you please give us your insight on that?
Yeah, the short answer is yes. So I do think that employment, and especially in the tourism industry, will be the future for this country. Not alone because the government clearly chose tourism as its future, as its destination, let's say. But for us, it's important that the local population becomes part of the whole experience. So it would be a wrong signal to those projects you were referring to. It would be a wrong signal to have foreigners working in these hotels. They must be coming from Angola. And all these projects altogether will ask a lot of employment. So that's the good news. But in order to get there, training is key. And I think your school will play an important role in that, and our investments as well in hotels, with hotel schools included. But that's one part. And the other part is the training of young people. The vocational training of students that are now in universities to indeed make them ready for tourism as well. And forcing women to make the step towards tourism is very important for us. And therefore we have our TUI Care Foundation. So that's an independent body next to TUI Group that is actively supporting SMEs and other kind of projects from the country, national projects, national SMEs, in order for them to succeed with funding and so on. So this is also a call for me today to the audience, to the broader audience. If there are SMEs that need supporting, SMEs that are active in tourism, projects that are in the pipeline, please contact us. We would like to take a look and maybe support it, because it's the future. Yeah.
A spin-off question on that. Do you believe that digital technology and artificial intelligence would be helping in this sector, providing more employment, or it would be taking jobs away from young people? I'm asking you this because you're also a young expert in this field.
Well, the question if AI is taking jobs, I don't think so. Because who are the specialists in AI? Mostly the young people. They are developing all kind of tools and etc. And that is also part of the broader tourism ecosystem. So no, I don't think AI will actually take jobs. It might actually enhance it. There is a lot of opportunity in AI. So I wouldn't fear it. I would embrace it. And the fact is, it's quite young as a technology. So everyone can still become a leader. So why not Angola? So and the youth of Angola could therefore benefit from it. Yeah.
Thank you. I see Martin wanting to answer this question. Please go ahead.
Please, Mike, yes, I think it's a very important point you raised, I think, and we can't say it enough. Tourism, travel, tourism, hospitality will create a lot of jobs in this country, will create a lot of jobs in this country. And I mean, there are probably not a lot of industries who can create so many jobs like travel, tourism, hospitality. And it can create a lot of jobs on different levels. You need the waiter, you need the one at the reception, you need the one who is cooking. So it's different levels. That's first point. Second point is, I'm a lawyer as profession. I can't work abroad. But if you are working travel, tourism, hospitality, you can work all around the world. Because hospitality is, of course, there are some cultural differences, but hospitality is all over the world the same. So that would be also my message, not only to the government, but also to parents sitting in that room. Talk to your children, to your sons, to your daughters, convince them that tourism, travel, hospitality is a fast-growing industry in your country. It's an industry, an international industry. It's very exciting. And to maybe also add this point, I think the influence of artificial intelligence is not that big like in my industry where I'm coming from, law. I'm not sure if the lawyers can bill what they build today, because AI will be faster and quicker and more efficient than every lawyer. So there is, of course, room for AI, and it will replace some of the people, but be honest, hospitality is still a people's business. I mean, I don't want to talk to a computer or to a roboter when I'm checking in. I want to have a smile of an Angolian person welcoming me at the reception. So to the parents, I would say, it's a future-oriented industry, And to government, I would say, create the jobs. And maybe just to add that, Mike, my last point, there are countries, Kazakhstan, for example, they send students abroad, they pay for them, scholarship, but they do a contract with them because they want the knowledge back in the country. So they finance a bachelor maybe or a diploma abroad, but they say, but you have to come back. And if you don't come back, you have to pay back, which I think is fair enough. But it's not only training maybe within the country. That's the reason why we also discuss, is it the last year in Switzerland or the full program in Switzerland? So it's a mixture of different things which will then create a workforce which is diverse, women, young, and I think that's very important.
Yes, Vincent, please.
Yeah, I actually wanted to compliment on that, and maybe to also to point or pinpoint a bigger threat for tourism and its development, and that is what I said at the beginning, is air connectivity. And I'm not going to repeat what has been said before. We need more airlines. All airlines that want to come, I think it's a good thing. We should embrace it. But what we see from a TUI group in our experience is what is blocking growth in tourism is protectionism, and especially in air connectivity. A lot of countries are proud of their national airline, and they should be. But next to the national airline, there are many other operators who can bring tourists towards the destination, and eventually that will also benefit the national airline of the country. So that's really a message from the TUI group towards Angola, who is now discovering the development of tourism. Watch out for this protectionism, especially in aviation. All kind of connectivity is good. When, for instance, if we would come with our airline, that would also have a knock-on effect for other investors. And bit by bit, there will be a lot of demand also for the national airline, the pride of the nation. And very, very short, the former minister of Azerbaijan said it yesterday already. Ministries should work well together, and it's not only the budget ministry that should be included, but also the transport ministry. We see that in a lot of countries. The tourism minister has a lot of goals. They are very far-reaching, but they are blocked in other ministries, and most of the time is the transport ministry. So I really cheer what you said yesterday. There should be a council in the country to jointly tackle this issue or this chance, this opportunity of tourism, but include this transport minister, that he understands what the goal is of the Ministry of Tourism.
Yeah. No. Well, let me say that connectivity is also the main theme of the next panel, connectivity in its broadest sense. I would like now to ask something that I don't think I heard it before. Climate change, which is really reshaping global travel patterns. What do you believe, Mr. Choksi? Because we have the natural, let us say, life playing such a big role in what concerns African tourism. What do you believe the consequences of climate change could be or would be? Could we see Africa after 20 years becoming a major tourism winner because it will have managed the consequences of climate change better than others?
Mr. Ambassador, I did ask you to not ask me any hard questions, but I'll try my best. So I think it's a great question indeed. So I mentioned earlier the organization that we established in the Eastern Cape in South Africa. It's focused on biodiversity loss. It's also focused on conservation. It's focused on certain species that are going extinct. And while we can all blame climate change on that, it's also issues of the interaction between humans and animals in the wild. And so we got to be very conscious of that as well. So what can an organization like ours do? A good example is just about a year ago, we purchased a 275-hectare property in the Eastern Cape, in the Addo River Basin area. And the purpose of that is to take a look at, in a way, we're sort of trying to practice what we preach. they're trying to take a look at how can we really restore the land, because right now there have been a lot of fences. To create a corridor that would link about 2 million hectares in total, once all the properties and the land areas are connected through, right now there are a lot of fragmentation. There's also a movement in the Eastern Cape of lots of conservationists trying to buy that land so that animals in the wild can move about freely. Related to tourism, it's actually a big area right now for tourists from around the world to visit the Eastern Cape. I was talking to Mr. Osama earlier this morning, and he mentioned Shamwari Lodge, for example, in the Eastern Cape. And I said, that's great. I was there 2 years ago as well. And the area I'm talking about is very close to that. These are living examples of how we can really, in our own small way, mitigate the effects of climate change by combining different areas where there could be a freer movement of animals. Because when we talk about climate change, we're talking about just not issues of energy and talking of ESG issues and so on. Sometimes I feel that the world of animal welfare is missing from the larger discussions of conservation and issues of climate, especially when we talk about all the different kinds of issues related to sustainability. My good friend from GSCC, who was talking yesterday about the certification programs on sustainability, I think they've also realized that animal welfare is a huge issue when it comes to the demand that's been I guess, created by younger demographics, and also, of course, the need for hotels, hospitality centers, and other kinds of tourism travel-related endeavors to take a look really about the carbon footprint. But again, to me, it's about the animal welfare issue.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think our time is over. If I could make a takeaway, I would say that perhaps the question for Angola and Africa is not how to catch up with existing tourism models, but how to build the next generation of tourism destinations. And allow me to say that what we heard today from our distinguished panelists has given you a hint of what the right direction can be. So thank you very much for hearing, and applause please to our distinguished speakers. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have the pleasure of moderating also the next panel, which, as I said, is connected to connectivity. Connectivity and tourism growth, opening new markets. I have the pleasure to invite to the podium two very important ladies, which will give us their experience and wisdom on this subject. We had the previous panel with three gentlemen. We have this panel with two beautiful ladies. So, Mrs. Virginia Messina, the CEO of African Travel and Tourism Association. Please, madam. Mrs. Messina has recently joined ATTA, and I think it is a very opportune moment as tourism is experiencing a renewed interest here in Africa. Our second speaker is, and allow me to pronounce, I hope her name correctly, Mrs. Lila Harangozo, Head Office of the Capital European Affairs, a strategic advisor and expert. So connectivity was mentioned so many times yesterday, but even today. And of course, the first thing that comes into our mind is airlines, airports, roads. But I believe that eventually connectivity is much, much more than that, especially today. It has a much broader meaning. It means digital connectivity. It means connectivity of paying systems, of visa facilitation, of data networks, even of cultural connections. And of course, we heard by many previous speakers the connectivity between other sectors which are so vital for the promotion and development of tourism. So I would very much like to have your first initial idea about how you see the necessity of establishing this important connectivity among all those factors in order to have a, let's say, satisfying result.
Thank you. Well, very, very big question. Can I also say, I've obviously stolen my friend from TUI's face, so this is my real face. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for bearing with us. We know it's the end of the last day, so hopefully we will make this engaging enough. And thank you to His Excellency for hosting us with so many rhythms and flavors of Angola, and of course to our friend Bulut for bringing this incredible gathering together. I'm very, very pleased to be here representing the Africa Travel and Tourism Association. So we bring together about 1,000 members from 32 countries across Africa. Hotels, hospitality, accommodation, aviation, obviously tour operators, travel agencies, DMCs. And what we do is we're a business to business. We drive growth across Africa. We promote all of our untold stories, but we also try to address some of these big challenges that need to unlock this growth. And yes, we know connectivity is essential. I think we've heard it more than enough in this forum. We are an ecosystem. Tourism cannot operate without all of these factors and all of these elements we have been hearing today. And indeed, access is essential. And indeed, network is essential. So if we look at what's happening in the world, and I think we all need to learn from each other. And I like to take the example of Asia Pacific because they are ahead of us in terms of the number of international visitors, yet they're a very fragmented region of islands. And what happened there? It was actually through the success of an airline, AirAsia, that they have really, really increased their growth and their tourism numbers, and of course, a number of elements. So how can we learn from some of those lessons that are out there? To your big question about absolutely everything that connectivity brings together. It's not just the airlines, it's the access, it's the roads. I think in today's day, digitalization and the new technologies are going to play an essential role in making not just a region more connected, but the world more connected. And again, is how do we benefit from what's happening in other regions to bring Africa closer together? And to tell the world that we're a big continent and have so much to offer, but yet it's that access not just to the world, but to ourselves that is gonna be critical to drive tourism growth.
Thank you so much. Lila, we heard it also before, that there is greater and better connectivity between individual African states, or even Angola, with Europe, than the connection between inter-African states. And this is, I believe, a huge untapped opportunity. We heard it that domestic, or if you wish, continental tourism should be perhaps more on the focus of tourism entities, of tourism administrations. What is your view on that?
Thank you for the question. And again, thank you everybody who brought this event together. It's amazing. I'm the head of Office of Capital European Affairs, a Brussels-based NGO advisory firm. And we try to help our partners navigate in the complexities of the EU bubble of European decision-making and also beyond. So, reflecting to your question, I would like to also bring it a bit more that perspective, because I think the EU is a very, very good example of how, yes, we are the EU, we are in one union, but we are separate countries. And for instance, tourism is a member state competence. So everybody has their own tourism strategies, everybody has their own ways of doing things. But at the same time, thanks to the Schengen, we are very unique in the sense that you can go from one country to another without any issues. And also, many European people, they decide not to leave Europe for a while because it's just easy to jump over from one country to another with a 2-hour-long flight. Of course, in Africa, the distances are a bit different in that sense. But I believe that if this would be changed in Africa, anywhere, but now we have this beautiful airport that indeed many people mentioned that it's empty, so it has a huge potential of opening up and bringing up more and more airlines here, then we would definitely tap another resource of tourism development, which is intra-Africa. And also, and maybe later on we can talk about this, that many African countries don't have a big brand in Europe. Also, when I told my family that I'm coming to Angola, and my friends, they knew where Angola is, they knew it's in Africa, but they did not know a lot about it yet. And this is a big thing that we should also really, really think about how to promote and how to open the market, but not only to Europe, not only to any international destination, but also within Africa. And if you have bilateral agreements of facilitating travel between one another, then you can just basically, with a tick, open up the potential for investment, for tourism development, for job developments, and also the skills that you mentioned to interchange the skills and the ways you're doing, because everybody has their own practices which are potentially, if they're intertwined, you can bring up something significantly better from it.
Virginia, a spin-off question on aviation. Do we need, do African countries need to be air hubs, all of them? Or should they try to cooperate in a manner where they are fewer, better equipped and better serviced hubs which are serving more than one country? What is your idea on that?
That's a very good question. And there's some very good examples, for like what's happening in Ethiopia with Ethiopian Airlines. And Addis has become a real hub for East Africa and has really driven a lot of growth to that region, and now is developing connectivity to other markets. I believe Atlanta, for example, is one of their new routes. So there are some really good hub examples in the region. Do we need too many of those? I don't think so. I think what we need is more cooperation. I think we have a lot of national carriers. I think part of the problem we have is protectionism. There is a lot of protecting national carriers and therefore not allowing for more competition. And demand needs to be driven by some of these national carriers. These national carriers need to continue frequencies, also open new routes, and the rest will follow. But it doesn't always mean you have to have 5 airlines flying the same route. It could mean it is about cooperation. It is about code sharing. So like in everything else, it comes down to partnerships, right? The governments have a role to play. The airports have a huge role to play. But it is about speaking to our peers, understanding and driving that demand. I think it's very important to understand that it's not easy to open a new route. It's not just to say we want to fly from Luanda to somewhere else and it's just going to happen. There is a lot of time, there's a lot of research and data that goes into this process. There's obviously marketing that needs to happen for these routes to pick up and obviously the demand to be there to be able to fill in the seats needed, because we also need to bear in mind that airlines have incredibly tight margins. We pay a lot of money for those flights, but what the airlines are actually making is the bare minimum. So it is a very, very tough industry, but it is an industry that we need more in Africa, and that's why those partnerships and collaboration are essential.
Oh, thank you very much for this. I hope that as a member of ATTA, you will push forward with these ideas. Lila, something completely different. The Netflix effect. Films, streaming, influencers, digital storytelling, they are all shaping the name, the brand of a tourism destination. Now, if you were an Angolan and you had $1 million to invest, would you invest in a new, let's say, tourism office in a third country, or would you invest it in trying to show your country through all these modern technological means to a greater audience?
I'm happy that
Tricky question.
I'm happy that you asked this question, actually, because I think there is a big change in the past few years, especially since COVID and digitalization and TikTok, Instagram, all these new pages are coming up. I'm part of the new generation, the younger generation, and I must say that I myself also oftentimes get the information from Instagram Reels, from TikTok videos, Facebook advertisements, and I rarely go on any site of tour operators and such, because it's just so much easier that you have an influencer you are following and you know that they have been traveling a lot and they give you good recommendations also anywhere else in the world. And I think that's part of the future of how we are going to be able to promote more and more the destinations, that we need to invest more into this type of information sharing and this type of thinking, that we, and even like 5-8 years younger people than me, they don't do the way that people used to do. They also want to travel in a different manner. They want to have experiences. They want to have experiences that are connected. They also want to pay attention whether that what they're doing is actually good for the ecosystem and, let's say, sustainable in that sense. People also mentioned it in my previous panels, and it came up with the certifications with Randy and the GSTC, and now Kashap also mentioned that when it comes to animal welfare, we want to make sure that what we are doing is good for our planet, and it's also good for us at the same time. So it's a complete shift, in my opinion, and what I'm seeing also in just people in my circle, but also in the EU, potentially, what is the future of travel and tourism.
Thank you. Virginia, we mentioned this also before, artificial intelligence. There is no doubt that it is changing the way people are discovering destinations today. But tomorrow, I believe that artificial intelligence assistants will be the ones planning and, let's say, implementing our tourism vacations and visits to countries. So what should African countries, what should Angola do today to ensure that they are visible in tomorrow's digital tourism ecosystem, which is just around the corner, by the way?
Well, first of all, I would agree with the previous panel that we are a people sector, so I don't think AI will replace any of our jobs, but I do think it's going to help us become a lot more efficient, and I think the airlines particularly are already seeing the benefits of some of this. It's helping us process passenger data in a more quick and efficient way. It's even actually helping us address sustainability, which from an airline perspective is a very, very complicated issue. Obviously, we know sustainable aviation fuels are expensive and not available at scale, but AI is helping us predict the weather to, for example, minimize contrails, which are very heavy on CO2. So there's a lot of efficiencies, and AI is going to help us get there faster. It's going to help us make us more secure and more efficient, as I was saying. So it is going to be part of the future. And I think when you say, what does a destination like Angola need to do when you're opening up to the world, and the world is your oyster. You have so much to learn from and so much to develop, so much untapped potential, right? I think digital infrastructure is going to be key. I also think there's so much more competition these days. If we go back 3-4 decades ago, you had your traditional established destinations. Today it's impossible to choose where to go, and now we have new and upcoming destinations like Angola. But it will be only the ones that are more innovative, that are benefiting from these new technologies, that are marketing themselves in a targeted way. Every source market is different. You can't sell to Germans like you sell to Mexicans, like you sell to Brazilians. Well, actually, we're pretty similar. I'm Mexican, and I feel like I'm at home here, by the way. But it is about that tailored approach, and it's definitely AI and these digital technologies that are going to help us achieve this in a more efficient way.
Well, AI, it reminds me of one liner that I read very recently about artificial intelligence. It says that we humans were so clever to invent AI, we were so dumb to need it, and we are so stupid we can't figure out if we did the right thing. I, at least at my age, am at this stage. I would thank you so much for your interventions and for all the wisdom we shared today with our audience. Please, a warm applause to our two speakers. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, what an excellent couple of hours. Thank you so much once again to Michael. Absolutely brilliantly led, as always. Thank you so much. Right, ladies and gentlemen, one of my favorite subjects is coming up. It is MICE as a growth engine. Now, business events, as we know, play a critical role in attracting investment, driving visitor spending, and enhancing destination reputation, very much like the last couple of days. So our next session is going to explore how meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions can very much serve as powerful engines for economic growth and international competitiveness. And what an incredible lineup I have for you next. First and foremost, let's give a very warm welcome to Julia Kleber, the CEO of the Kleber Group. A very warm welcome. Hoping Julia is here with us. Maybe she stepped out for a moment. Let's see. In the meantime, let's give a very warm welcome to Frank Marangwa, who is the ICCA Director for Africa. Come on up. A very warm welcome. And now, rounding out our panel really nicely, please welcome Mulemwa Mungwa, who is the Global Accounts Manager at Helms Briscoe and co-owner of the Africa MICE Summit. A very warm welcome to you. Now, as you can see, we're setting up the MOU stage there for a little later on, and I'm hoping that Julia is going to be joining us. Waiting a couple of moments. If not, we will get started, and hopefully Julia will join us at some point. Yes, please do take a seat in the meantime. Right, so I wanted to start off with the general MICE landscape here in Africa, across Africa, because I know you two are very, very much experts in all of this, of course. So Frank, I wanted to start off with you. Tell us a little bit more about the ICCA, exactly what you do, and how well positioned do you think Africa is right now within the industry, and what sort of opportunities do you actually see here in Angola to get a bit of that market share?
Thank you very much, Laura, and good morning. Very delighted to be here, and what a pleasure to be back to Angola. I was here a month ago, and coming back here and witnessing the transformation that is happening in this country is a huge, huge pride for Africa. And I must confess that as an African, I'm so proud to say that we very happy to see the transformation that is happening in this country. This is not just a continent we want, this is the Africa we're building. And we're very delighted to be back here to really be part of this conversation shaping the MICE industry. Specifically coming from ICA, I'm representing the International Congress and Convention Association, ICA. We present and support members across over 100 countries, and we've got over 1,000 members in those countries, and we've been existing since 1963, supporting the MICE community. ICA being the leading and the global community for the events industry, we bring together the database that helps to inform decision makers, helps to inform governments, helps to inform the private sector on the importance of the MICE industry. And so looking at the current status on the MICE industry in Africa, but also looking across the world, today Africa represents 4%. When we look at the data of last year in 2025, Africa got a share of 4%. And this is not where we want to be. We want to be a big player within the MICE industry. But the challenges we get to continue to see on the African continent is that, one, a lot of things that we've been discussed this morning, we were not ready in terms of the right infrastructure. But looking at what is happening across the continent, when you look at Angola, looking at the investment they are putting in the right infrastructure that it can host global gatherings, but also investing in the human capital. I think there was a very big emphasis on human capital. You can't compete globally without the global infrastructure. You can't compete without the talent. But also you can't compete without access, connectivity, and the visas. All those factors really come together to constitute what makes a destination competitive. And so today we're looking at Africa opening up, embracing MICE and business events as one of the, not only a sector, but a driver for economic development. And yesterday we were very happy to see the ministers we had on the stage here are really being advocates and a voice for the industry, which has not been recognized across so many places. So today we're very happy to say as ICA, we're here to partner with Angola, and we've already established a partnership with Angola as our destination partner for the African continent, where we're supporting the destination to grow, to expose it to the global market, but also build relationship and build business. And that's what we do through our network. So very happy to be here and share that journey with the audience. Thank you.
Great to have you here. And just speaking of, talent and organization and connectivity, I must say I've done a lot of events around the world, and the event over the last couple of days has been truly, truly phenomenal. I've been so incredibly impressed with the organization. So I'd just like to give a huge round of applause to the ministry, the World Tourism Forum Institute as well. Let's give them a huge round of applause. What an incredible couple of days. It's been really, really impressive. Also, you're from Rwanda. We're going to talk about Rwanda a little later on, because I've been to Rwanda, and your events are absolutely phenomenal as well. I think South Africa is the #1 hotspot, isn't it? And then Rwanda sort of comes second. But Mlemwa, really fantastic to have you here as well. Tell us a little bit more about where you're seeing the most momentum for mice development across Africa here today as well. What exactly are you sort of seeing drive that growth, essentially?
Thank you, Laura. And yes, you're right. It's been a great couple of days. I think when we're looking at where we're at now, we cannot ignore where we're coming from. And our sector was probably the hardest hit during the pandemic, because all of a sudden, this was a sector that went completely unnoticed, but its economic impact could not be denied during the pandemic because of the jobs that were lost, the revenue that was lost, and destinations started waking up to the know the economic power of mice. Now, when we look at the sector itself, most destinations are coming from a reactive point of view because of the realization and the recognition of the numbers during the pandemic. What we're seeing now is an accelerated effort in growing mice without fully appreciating, and I'm very happy that one of the panels did pick on the human agenda. So when you look at the infrastructure that we've developed, we possibly in every country do have mice-ready infrastructure. We do have at least people coming into our countries. Africa is 54 different jurisdictions, and all of us belong to a member organization. We belong to a regional economic trade bloc or something. But we're always having conversations. A continent of over 1 billion people, and now is when we're realizing that every time we gather, there's actually an economic sector that is being supported by the meetings that come into the destination. We just didn't know what that was until the pandemic. I come from Zambia, which is a very hospitable country. We've been hosting since pre-independence. Most of the conversations for liberalization of the region were held in Zambia, and that gave us a reputation of as being a hospitable destination. The cost of that hospitality is very significant on our government, and to this day, we still host a number of meetings. We are only just getting to a point where we're looking at the economic value of that hosting. For us, it's a responsibility, and that is what and where the agenda is shifting. We're moving from responsibility to opportunity. Where we're sitting now is we have a convention center. Do we have the bed space to support? Do we have the airlines that are coming in? Very few countries are actually saying we actually do not have a school that is giving us people that are specialized in this sector. And that is where we should be. We should now be looking not just at the development, but the maintenance. So from the destination's point of view, I think there's an accelerated effort in building capacity to host. We are seeing every destination looking at establishing a convention bureau if they don't have one, but most of them are actually playing in the space of infrastructure.
Very quickly, before we move on to our next question, I wanted to take a very quick look at destination strategies. Tell us a little bit more about how traveler expectations have changed around the MICE segment, because obviously I'm here from Dubai, I've flown in, I've never been to Angola before, we've had this incredible couple of days. I would love to go and see a bit of the country and go on a bit of an adventure. So how have those expectations changes when it comes to travel tourism in the MICE segment?
So looking at meetings and the mobility of groups, it's really the experience. We are in the experience economy. So where we're now sitting, and the blessing of the pandemic is that now we are forcing even the meetings that we thought, look, we've gone virtual, technology has now come in. We're now looking at how do we build on the last event? What about what experience did Laura have in Angola that when she comes into Harare or when she comes into Accra, it's going to be different? What are the unique attributes of, so it's now shifting from just having your assets, which are your natural assets or your infrastructure, to a more strategic design, a deliberate design of the experience, because you are now selling, whether it's from your, your gastronomy, whether it's from your attractions, you're now looking at who is coming and how are you designing their experience. So when we look at the patterns, especially around the groups, we are looking at liability issues. We're looking at, if we send our teams into this destination, should there be an unlikely situation that we had with the pandemic, how do we bring them back? Who then covers the cost? We've now seen an increase even in the purchase of insurance products by employers, which wasn't the case pre-2020. So that is another, that is another part of the ecosystem and the value chain that is benefiting from the understanding of who's traveling and why are they traveling. So from the point of the traveler, we're now looking more for what is unique about, because if I look at an elephant in one country, it will be the exact same elephant. In our region, they are actually not loyal because they actually move without visas, door to door. So we now have to be able to say, what is going to be unique if you saw the elephant from my side of the river than if it is on the other side? So it's really a design issue, yeah.
Frank, what's your take on all of this?
No, Lola, I think it really comes back to how we communicate and how we present Africa. And we've got a huge opportunity as a continent because we have a very remarkable story to tell. If you look at the amazing experience we've had here over the last 2 days, it's incredible. And many people don't know it, and a lot of really people talked about it when coming to Angola for the first time. It's incredible. They've never thought, perception is quite important. So it's important that we own it and tell our own story and tell to the right people. If we need to be at the right platforms, we need to be there. We need to be present. And I'm just giving you an example. We just came back from IMEX in Frankfurt this year, which is one of the biggest platforms for the MICE global community where you meet global planners. And the question again, for Africa remains, is it safe? Is it secure? And we need to keep on educating, and that's our role. But it has to start with us. If you're not there to tell the story and you own it and showcase what you have, it is going to remain passive. So I really come back to ownership and going forward and say, this is the Africa we want and this is the story we're telling as a continent.
So staying with you for a moment, Frank, as I mentioned, you're from Rwanda. I've been to Rwanda. I've hosted conferences there. It's very, very impressive to see what you're doing. Can you maybe give us a few examples of any big conferences that you've been a part of that have really helped attract this type of investment and also build clusters or elevate these destination profiles? Because I know a lot's changed in Rwanda, hasn't it?
I think what I'm going to share is what I believe is going to be an inspiration, especially for Angola, based on where Angola is today in terms of building its MICE industry. I come from Rwanda, and 12 years ago, when Rwanda was starting its MICE journey, Rwanda was not known on the African map, even on the global stage. It wasn't known as a MICE destination. But that transformation, the transformation we've seen over the past decade, was driven by clear leadership. And I think that's really what we're witnessing here, what we're seeing in Angola, having a clear vision, having a committed leadership, and we've seen it over the last 2 days. So the transformation just didn't remain at the vision, it came at the operation level. Strategy was developed for Rwanda to position it as a hub on the African continent. And not only did we just have the strategy, but we put a framework structure in place. We established a convention bureau, and today I can confidently say that on the African continent, Rwanda became the second country to have a proper convention bureau that does the work of destination marketing. Meaning that every day, every morning, we would wake up to go and look for bids, compete globally present the country, represent the country, and attract those events to the country. Today, Kigali is number 2 on the African continent, having come from nowhere, and this is what I think for the next 5 years, for the next few years, Angola, Rwanda is going to be placed at the global stage. And I remember a few years ago, we were involved in global events. WTTC is one of the events Rwanda, got involved in and, bid and brought it to the country. And the impact of that event was not just, the hosting the people in the country, but there was investment that came as a result of hosting that event in the country. And that's what business events bring to our destinations. We drive knowledge. When we're meeting here, we go back different. We don't just gather people, but we want to enhance knowledge. Whether it's medical sector, whether it's tourism, whether it's infrastructure, we go back different, and that's what business events bring. And really, Rwanda, today we look at it as an example, but beyond that, I think when you do it with the intention, you are able to compete, but you need to have the structure in place. And I think today, what we're seeing in Angola, having the right framework, having launched the Convention Bureau, a month ago, was a step forward to building the structure that is needed to position Angola. Moving forward, Angola is going to start competing, and we're going to see the numbers improving and growing.
Thank you so much. I'm going to move to your final comments in just a moment. Just one last question for Mlamwa. What type of collaboration are we looking at to really drive all of this forward in terms of, government partnerships, convention bureaus, investors, airlines, as you mentioned, connectivity and things like that? How can we best collaborate to get this over the line?
So when we look at the MICE sector, we're looking at a platform that catalyzes change. So the conversations, these are not just gatherings, these are platforms that we put together. So we as an industry, we as people that work in MICE, businesses that operate in MICE, we are actually the building block, we're the foundation for the conversations that bring about change. We're sitting in a room that is designed to catalyze particular change, and that is what we need to look at the MICE sector first as a tool for economic development, as a tool that supports so much in terms of regional integration. The moment we move from the conversation around it being tourism or nice to have or a gathering, I come from a background where I've pursued a career path that doesn't exist. So I've been working and, figuring it out as I went. The certifications that I've pursued, the career path that I'm on, there wasn't a straight road. And until we get to a table that now says, this is serious business, this is not just, a conversation that is among, often the rooms that we're sitting in is by tourism, for tourism, about tourism. I think one of the panels did touch on the issue of convincing finance, but we need to move from that point to where we're sitting across from health, from sports, environment. What meetings, what organizations are you a part of? What can we bring to the destination? That is at country level. Then we move at regional level and now start looking at what regional bodies do we have. We don't have a conversation at AU that is looking at the MICE agenda. That is the biggest meetings organization that we have on the continent, and they're not talking meetings management. They're not talking who's managing this. The economic value of meetings is not being tabled at government level. So when we go in, we're perceived as tourism. And when you think tourism, the first thing you're thinking about is chills. It's the vibes that you're bringing. But we have to move from that and look at the economic power and potential of the meetings and what they bring to the region. When we look at Africa, when we're sitting in a room, a MICE event, we're always sitting at about 80% intra-Africa participants, 20% from outside. We've actually not sat down to say, how are we growing these numbers? What is the mobility of these meetings? So if we were saying as a continent, from this meeting, we're sitting here and saying, which is the next country that is hosting this event? Yes. Already, we should be having that conversation. From Luanda, where is it going? Yeah. So we should be now looking at the mobility of events, but more importantly, we need to now at country level be able to profile which organizations we belong to, so that we're able to start attracting the numbers. Our focus is always outside Africa. We're a continent of 1 billion people plus. If we targeted even less than 5% for business tourism on an annual basis, this is doctors, teachers, engineers, anything, everybody that needs to speak. If we are able to have a plan at government level, the connectivity issue will respond to itself. We will be able, because you've got the demand, we will be able to...
Hello, we are now, sorry, excuse me for interrupting, we are now joined by Julia Kleber. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us. Sadly, we are running out of time, but let me ask you a few questions, but we've had such a great discussion so far. So just very quickly, maybe you could just sort of jump in here and tell us a little bit on your side, because you know you did your presentation yesterday, but tell us a little bit more about Angola's MICE success story. What exactly do you think that's going to look like, and what is it going to take to get there?
Thank you so much. And first of all, sorry for just jumping in now. It's some meetings happening on the other side. So just actually 1 month ago, we launched the Meet in Angola Convention Bureau officially of Angola, which is a big milestone, because as a destination, there has never been a proper convention bureau. So we just set that up, and with the new convention bureau, I'm sure also Frankie have been speaking about it, seeing the vision behind this as creating really the meeting room in Africa. There is a tremendous potential. We have everything here, the direct flights coming, Lufthansa, of course, Ethiopian Airlines, etc. So from a connectivity point, it's a perfect spot. And really the vision behind it, to build a new city around a new convention center. I mean, we already have a brilliant convention center that's open at the moment. But what is there to come to really attract the people of the incentives, the MICE industry, to Angola? There is a big vision behind it. And we've built now the Convention Bureau being here on ground with great people, local people understanding the industry, and of course a lot of training now happening of what it takes into the next steps. And then we need to start bidding, but we have seen a really good interest already just talking about it. And I said it's 1 month that we've been on this, but there is a great interest, especially looking at a new destination in Africa. We know Rwanda is a great example. Cape Town has a lot of convention happening there, but Angola can be the new rising star on that one as well, I believe.
We also spoke a little bit about traveller expectations, because obviously we're all here, we're very excited to go out and explore a bit of Angola. How do you think these traveller expectations have changed? And what are your thoughts on that when people sort of come here? What is the expectation, do you think?
I mean, first of all, I think 1 year ago, Angola was not considered as a destination to invite people. But what has been done in the recent year is really to put the message out there. And of course, it has been started with the leisure tourism to invite all the travelers to come here and to just create this positive image. It's open, the country, there's culture, there's gastronomy, there's nature, there's beautiful people here. It's all there, and I think the same is now to be done for the MICE industry to really attract the business traveler. They are here already, oil and gas, diamonds, everything the country has to offer, but really to stay here, to bring the major conferences to the country. And of course, those next travelers that will be coming for their business trips, they will be the new investors, they will be the new tourists coming, so it all plays together. And I think in creating the whole value chain of what actually Angola is all about, there we are on the right track at the moment.
Now, I also know that you all work together in some capacity. So define successful collaboration. How have you all managed to work together, and what sort of hopes do you have for Angola and this part of the world while working together?
How do we work together? A very, very, very close relationship. And I mean also the opportunity for us as Kleber Group to build. So we established an office on ground to be more connected, to be also, of course, to bring the expertise into the country that we have from developing other countries beforehand. But we really need to train. What we also saw when hiring here and looking who can work with us in the convention bureau, it is training the local people of what the event industry works like. I mean, we saw yesterday, we saw the day before, the amazing companies already who really have the expertise to host major events, but of course also on the whole infrastructure. What are the post programs that we can do? What are the DMCs that know how to treat them? Again, the conferences that are coming. So on all of this volume, it's of course still more new to the country, and this is what we still need to build, some kind of expertise and how to attend the bids internationally, how to make those events, how to really bring them here. But at the moment, we're training, we are building, putting the communication out there, trying to get the attention, and I think it all comes along the way.
So I'm going to go to your final remarks in just a moment. I just wanted to get your final take on some of the challenges that you've encountered and maybe what those experiences have taught you to sort of get to that next level so that Angola can be a very successful hub for MICE.
I mean, I think the first challenge faced is the understanding what this actually means to the country and to bring this opportunity or the potential that is there into the reality. Because, of course, also when we started off, the capacity is not yet, as in other countries, that's developed. So also to looking at the right people that will be working in the Convention Bureau, we still need to train. So there is gaps in between, but the willingness is there. And of course, looking at the country as a whole, as I said, from connectivity being on place, from hotels being here, we just need to now amplify everything and do a lot of work on ground in the country to really make this a successful meeting incentive industry.
And PR and marketing as well. So, right, final remarks. What is the key message that you'd like to tell our audience here today when it comes to the MICE segment and what it's going to take for Angola to get that market share? Frank, you go first.
Yeah, thank you very much, Lola. I think MICE thrives on collaboration, and I just really want to reinforce that. And looking at the product experience in Luanda here in Angola, everything is there. But collaboration is going to be the key success. Collaboration means that the Convention Bureau in place is going to work with the entire ecosystem, from the hotels, the airlines, the restaurants, the transport, stakeholders, government departments. That's where business comes from. If you look at the audience we have here, every department travels and attends the meetings, and those become your ambassadors to lobby and start to attract those events to your country. So collaboration is very important. Moving forward, I think that's the key message, not only just in Angola, but across the continent. We're talking about intra-Africa trade. There's huge amount of business within the African continent, and that's where we need to put our next focus. But the most important is also communication and marketing and going to the right place. Africa needs to claim its space, its recognition. We've got infrastructure, we've got talent, we've got beauty, diversity. We just need to go out and claim it. So that's my message.
Very well said indeed. Malemwa, over to you.
Thank you. I'm going to respond twofold because on one hand, I work professionally as a MICE buyer, and I am sitting with a destination I didn't know existed until 3 days ago. So I'm aware Angola existed, but I didn't know what I would send to Angola. And I'm grateful that the ministry did extend the invitation for me to not just be a part of this panel, but also to be able to see. So that, for me, is where I'm sitting in an organization of about 1,500 associates. It's a US-based firm. Last year, December, we recorded our highest revenue in terms of sites bookings, which was about $1.9 billion. Less than 5% came from Africa. That is where the problem begins. And for me, that is the message I'm leaving in the room. How are we sitting with such exotic destinations that are able to compete? A lot of African destinations are able to compete on a global landscape. We just do not tell our story enough. Now, that is the one side of the story that I'm going away with, and hoping that the room understand the value of MICE, the economic value of MICE that is able to come into the destination. This is one company booking and moving around meetings around the world and recording revenue of over 1.9 billion. Africa is bigger than, we are 54 destinations. Why are we not, moving around those meetings? There is such huge potential, not just for Luanda, but the events that are coming here, that are going to Zambia, that are going to Rwanda. We should be able to start, moving those meetings. Secondly, when we were at ITB Berlin, all of us as Africans felt the pride when we saw Angola, because we felt for the first time you go into these international events and this is, this is my neighbor, this is my family. So there was that pride. We enter IMEX and Angola is still there. And then you're like, maybe it's time for Africa to now, ride on this wave, because something is happening here that we have not seen. I am not speaking because the minister is here, but I'm speaking because we've been to these events. We go twice to IMEX Frankfurt, IMEX Las Vegas, we do ITB. So we're doing these events because as buyers, these are the markets. We're buying Asia, we're buying Europe. Never have I seen until 2026 an African country as a lead partner. You go into Fitur, we are at the exit. I stand to be corrected. Africa Pavilion is always at the exit. You have to know where you're at. But to get an African country hitting you in the face on arrival, that has brought a sense of pride, especially to us that are in the MICE space, that you walk into IMEX, and as you're entering, this is the message that is coming out. We can all now take a lift and be a part of that bandwagon, and I think that is the message, because there is jobs to be created. There is wealth to be generated for our citizens, but more importantly, from a positioning point of view, we are sitting with the numbers. The numbers are available to start moving. We cannot talk about competition as destinations, we're talking collaboration. So I want to know what meetings are being held in Addis Ababa, how many can I move into Lusaka, then into Rwanda. When I have those meetings, I am able to now pick up a phone to the airline and say, can you be able to pick up these numbers? That is going to drive the demand. When the numbers are there, the demand is going to be seen. Thank you.
Very well said. I mean, as you mentioned, there needs to be a lot more recognition, and this sort of factor of passing on the baton to your neighbours as well, I think is such a great idea. Julia, what are your final remarks for us here today?
First of all, I loved what you just said, because that's exactly the vision we had, and pushing and creating the understanding of the importance to raise the voice. As you said, it's not only Angola, it's the African continent, because also people that come first anywhere in Africa, once they're on the continent, they fall in love, but they need to first come, and then they want to explore more destinations. And from the, as I said, the visitors, the tourists, as well as the business people, it is that we need to create this message out there and putting those statements into the market, as we did this year, starting to the fairs. And Angola had never been to any international fair before, so from zero to hero, I would put it in this way. It's a very bold step that we took together, to the decision to really make this work. But it is, as you really just mentioned, we need to work on the image. We need to create the USPs of each country of the African continent. Travel in between Africa, it's there. Why is it not more? Why is it more attractive to go to Paris instead of going to Luanda from Cape Town? Why is it more attractive to go to Rome instead of going to Kigali? So we need to create this interest from abroad, internationally, from other continents, but also within the continent. And Africa, for me, is the 100% rising star in the world at the moment. No conflicts, everything is positive. We just need to tell the story, and this is our aim.
Very well said. It's been such an important and such a fascinating discussion, one that I know is, close to all of our hearts here on the stage. So thank you so much for lending us your time and your experience and expertise. It's been really, really fantastic sitting down with you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for our panel. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Laura, and thank you to your excellent panelists. I really enjoyed this discussion as well. We came to one also very important part of today's agenda, and I would like to invite His Excellency Minister Marcio Daniel to join me here on stage to witness the signing of several memorandums of understanding. And I would also like to invite Ms. Alicia Santos, Director General of Infotour, to sign the papers on behalf of Angola. First memorandum of understanding will be signed on behalf of Global Humane Society by Kashyap Choksi. I do invite Mr. Choksi to join me here on stage. Oh, I couldn't see you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. Global Humane Society is a leading international animal welfare organization dedicated to advancing humane treatment standards across industries worldwide. As the international arm of American Humane Society, it protects more than 1.7 billion animals annually through science-based certification programs. This organization is also recognized for its work in ethical ecotourism, wildlife conservation, habitat preservation, emergency animal rescue, and the promotion of responsible animal welfare practices across tourism and also hospitality sectors. Put your hands together for this cooperation in the future. Congratulations to both sides. Thank you. I would like to invite now Mr. Randall Durbin to sign the next memorandum on behalf of Global Sustainable Tourism Council. GSTC is the internationally recognized body responsible for establishing global sustainability standards for the travel and tourism sector. It also develops the criteria and accreditation frameworks used by destinations, hotels, and tourism operators worldwide. They also work closely with governments, as you could hear from Mr. Randy during his participation in the panels. And they also work with development agencies and the private sectors, promoting sustainable destination management. Congratulations, and I wish you a successful cooperation in achieving your goals. Thank you. I would like to invite now Mr. Attila Ulheli to sign the memorandum on behalf of Capital European Funds Advisory. CEFA is a specialized advisory firm. It focuses on maximizing access to European Union funding opportunities. They have more than 15 years of experience. They support clients throughout the full project lifecycle, from funding identification and buildings to grant application and project implementation. They also work extensively with programs such as Horizon Europe, Life and Digital Europe, helping organizations transform strategic objectives into fundable projects. And as we discussed yesterday and today, getting that access to European Union funding opportunities, it's from extreme importance for Angola as well. Congratulations to both. Please put your hands together for this cooperation as well. I would like to invite now Mr. István Ujhelyi to join us here again on stage and to sign a memorandum of understanding on behalf of Full Sulfate. Full Sulfate is an innovative material science company specializing in the international commercialization of sustainable industrial solutions. Their flagship products include environmentally friendly additives for construction and oil remediation applications. They also, through strong research and development capabilities and strategic partnerships, including collaboration with leading European lime producers, Full Sulfate supports industries in adopting cleaner, environmentally compliant technologies and sustainable construction practices. Please put your hands together for this cooperation as well. I would like to invite now Mr. Osama Al-Othman to join us on stage. He's a director and founder of Nuru Group. As you could hear earlier from my fireside chat with Mr. Al-Othman, Nuru Group is an advisory firm. They specialize in destination development, tourism growth, investment attraction, and place transformation. They work closely with the governments, investors, developers, and destination owners to unlock the tourism and economic potential of places. Their expertise covers destination strategy, place branding, hospitality readiness, governance, tourism investment. Also capital project development and supporting the creation of competitive and investment-ready tourism destinations. Congratulations to both. And please put your hands together one more time. As Nuru Group has extraordinary experience with working with governments in achieving their tourism goals and sharing their international expertise. Thank you. I would like to invite now Rabal El Amine, chairman of White Crescent Group, to join us to sign the next Memorandum of Understanding. The purpose of this memorandum is to promote foreign direct investment and tourism infrastructure development. The key areas of cooperation between White Crescent Group will be in investing in hotels, resorts, MICE facilities, visitor experience infrastructure, high-end food and beverage concepts, hospitality training facilities, and also local participation and knowledge transfer. One more round of applause. Thank you so much. I would like to invite now Zhu Jing to sign the next Memorandum of Understanding. Zhu, welcome. She will sign the next Memorandum of Understanding on behalf of HISEAS International. HISEAS International is a global destination management corporation. They have a network of more than 40 offices across nearly 30 countries. The company provides comprehensive travel services, including customized group tours, tailor-made itineraries, and corporate MICE programs. They also have an office in Brussels, Atlas HISEAS, the representation there, and this group also promotes intercultural communication and creative industry cooperation between Europe and Asia. And they are a member of the World Travel and Tourism Council. This is a very important partner as well for international destination promotion and tourism development. Thank you. Thank you. And Mr. Minister, Your Excellency, thank you. Ms. Alicia Santos, thank you so much. We finished with this part. I'll leave you to Laura to continue with the program. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Nafisa, and huge congratulations to all of our officials here today for signing those MOUs. Let's hope that we get some really fruitful results at the end of all of this. Absolutely fantastic. So thank you so much, and congratulations once again. Now, yes, we are nearing the end of the summit, ladies and gentlemen. However, before we go, I'm absolutely delighted to now welcome our next speaker, who is here to talk about the future of Angolan talent within the global hospitality and tourism sector, building a workforce that's ready to compete on the global stage. So, to tell us more, let's give a very warm welcome to Wissam Okasha, who is the head of global development for Asia, Greater China, and the EMEA regions at TUI Hotels and Resorts. Very warm welcome back to Wissam.
Thank you for having me here. I am welcoming here numerous numbers of alumnus which just joined us this afternoon for this session. To my understanding, we have 150 young talents which are sitting here in the back rows. So if you want, come here. There is a couple of seaters. Feed the first front and come closer. We're going to have a lot of fun here. Yeah? Can we please give one microphone for eventual question from the audience? Lauren, can we arrange one microphone for eventual question from the audience? So before we start, I have one question for the alumnus. One courageous guy or lady who wants to answer my question. What do you think where I have started my career? Come on, don't be shy. Come on. Which position I have started, with which position I have started my career? Sorry? Reception. Position, please. Waiter. Sorry? No? Cleaner, yeah. A little bit. Dishwasher. A dishwasher. I was a dishwasher because I went to Germany and I was having like a sort of a stipendium for being in telecommunication engineer. And unfortunately, I lost that stipendium and I had to do something else. And I didn't speak German, and I wanted to do for 3 months some work. And I asked a restaurant, Mövenpick restaurant in Stuttgart, if they can give me a job. And they said, no, you don't speak German. I said, why you don't put me somewhere I can wash dishes? I don't need language. And so I started. And I had there one of the directors. He saw in me like a guy who can work hard and has ambition to do more. So he promoted me very quickly to a program of 8 months where I could get a position as chef de rang and later on as a restaurant manager, or let's say an apartment manager in the restaurant. And this is how I started. So the main thing was at that stage was absolutely work from the morning to the evening, 2 shifts, and over the weekend in a hotel as a night shift, just to get the money and go back to my school. I have some problem with this here. Now, the combination, how I could really advance with my career was a very simple thing. In Germany, we have something which we call the dual system, the dual schooling system, where you go as a student, you go to a hotel school for a few months, and then you go to the practical part of the thing in the hotel. And this is what we as a group are applicating all over the places. So imagine somebody who has no education like me. I didn't finish my diploma at that time. And that German system has took me and said, okay, here you have the chance. Go to the practice for 6 weeks. Go to the hotel, do 10 weeks, and after 1 year, I can have my diploma as a hotel fachman, which is a hotel specialist. This is what I have done. Now, this system is going to be implemented in Angola like we have implemented it in the Cape Verde, in Senegal, in the Ivory Coast. So that's going to be for the young talents to come a very good alternative to another study where we can provide it to the hotel schools here with a guarantee that every single person who goes through that program, different program, will have a 100% secure job after that. How did I do that? After I finished from the hotel, from the Mövenpick, I went to the Maritime Hotel in Stuttgart, and I have my first mentor. That mentor catapulted me from I would say, a restaurant manager to food and beverage manager in the biggest hotel in Germany at that time. 555 rooms and conference capacity of 8,000 people. And I was suddenly the food and beverage manager with no experience. And he gave me the advice to think bigger, to keep learning, take responsibility, and focus always on the people. Hospitality and tourism is a people business, and if we don't focus on people, on young talent like you, we will never be able to create sustainable hospitality and tourism. So rest in peace, Thomas Röstner, who really opened for me the doors. Now, the most important thing for me to know, what would you do now? Some questions from the crowd. What would you do? What have you done to start your career? Where would you start? Come on, don't be shy. Few answers, please. What is the first step would you do after you finish your school to get a job? Good, very good. CV first. What else?
Apply for an internship.
Sorry?
Maybe apply for an internship or something.
Very good, very good. What else? Ask around. Very good. I like this. More important than all this, there are very, very important component, but there is something which is more important. As first step, I can tell you, if I would be in your shoes today, this is what I did myself. I want to know where I will be in 5 years. I want to know exactly which job and which position I want to take. And then make the plan, and then start do the CV, do the research, where I can go. I cannot proceed here with this. There is no battery, I think. Regie, can we see, please, the presentation? Here we go. So, that said, you really have to take it by your hand. Don't wait for someone to come, take you in your hand and go. So what are the steps which you can do? Nowadays, you have two different advantages in Angola. The first one, that you have a very strong Minister of Tourism. He's determined to change the rules here, taking Angola from a company with gas and oil successful story to open up a new stream into the country to create sustainable tourism and hospitality at the highest standard which is existing in the world. The second one, and this is a very big advantage which I personally never had, you have nowadays ChatGPT, social media, Google, and co. And this is for you like a huge advantage where you can learn on yourself day by day to improve your results after or during the schooling. I am sure that most of you guys are doing it, but this is one of the most important things. Let's go back now and see. Now, we have imagined, I want to be a waiter, I want to be a chef, I want to be a food and beverage manager, I want to be a general manager, or I want to be a regional manager, or I want to be a housekeeper. So this is your own decision. If you don't put this in your brain and you dream about it in the morning, in the evening, and in between, you will never get it. So be determined and put yourself a time where and when you want to achieve this. Now I know somebody of you would say, but I cannot do it. The most of you, because I don't know where to go. No, go and make your research and be sure that you can rely on the government here, on the Minister of Tourism. When all these hotels will come here, you you will have a chance to have a very good life, and you improve the life of your family and yourself. The opportunities never knock on the door. You have to run behind them. Now, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen from our perspective in this country in the next couple of years. The master plan we are working together with the Ministry of Tourism is to bring 7 hotels here. 7 hotels with the first phase of 4 hotels in the first phase. Luckily, one of these will be a hotel to open as first, with a new hotel school in the city here in Luanda. And that's going to help us to bring talents and to bring them to the next hotels where we will be building them in some place at the beach in this wonderful country with around 900 rooms. 900 rooms means 2,000 jobs will be waiting for you. I expect this to be in 2 years, 2.5 years, hopefully. We are all working very hard on it, but that's going to happen. And you need to believe in this, yeah? In the meantime, that hotel school will be preparing, based on the German dual system, we will be preparing the talents which will be working with us, but also working somewhere else, because we are not the only company coming to the country. You have seen maybe and heard that this year, in this summit, we have the top 5 or top 6 international brands which are coming here. I know about 3 of them who signed more than 5 or 6 hotels now, which are coming up into the country. That means the 2,000 jobs which we cannot bring is not only these jobs, it is some more jobs coming in, and we will produce not only for us, we will produce for the country. We are not bringing hotels from Germany. We are making the future of the talents and the hospitality in this country together with you guys. Okay? Now, maybe some of you have the ambition to be somewhere else in between, because maybe 2 years is too long. I highly recommend you to use the time and jump out of the box and maybe do like some regional experience, because that would improve the quality of the services which you can bring back to Angola. I'm going to explain myself. If you get an opportunity somewhere else in Africa or around Angola, don't hesitate to take it. Don't hesitate to take it. Why? Because this is going to be improving your experience skill, and then you will bring it back to the country. Yeah? So now I'm going to ask you some more questions. What is the next step now for you if you want to consider to go on an international or, let's say, a regional job? What would you do? Come on. Sorry? Yes. What else? Online. There is a lot of platform providing jobs all over the region, all over the world, but also around Angola and in Angola as well. One of these platforms is tuijobs.com. You go to tuijobs.com and you say yourself, you see the jobs, there is 2 different positions or 2 different ways to get there, either by position or by country. We're going to share with you the exact address, and you can try there, but only if you promise to first give the priority to here. Considering something outside is only when we don't have yet that capacity we are working around. Yeah? So now I understood that you have written your name on a paper, which I need it now here because we're going to do a raffle shortly. And the lucky winner will win a stay with us in TUI Blue in Marrakesh. So don't hesitate to bring me these names here because we will be pooling it. We will have the raffle to see the winner. Sorry for this. I recommend you and invite you to see this video. This is about the TUI Care Foundation, where we go with the government hand in hand and help developing the local structure.
My name is Gaulay Heidi Volani Mabunda. Me llamo Domingo García. My name is Mai Alejandra Kawachi.
Ignacio Romero.
Edith Baloy.
TUI Care Foundation builds on the potential of tourism as a force for good.
TUI Care Foundation wants to support the destinations and especially the people in the destination to get a better life, and that they also benefit from the tourism industry and from the travelers coming to their countries.
With more than 70 projects in over 30 destinations worldwide, the TUI Care Foundation focuses on 4 fields of engagement. Through the Enabling Education Initiative, disadvantaged children become eco-champions by receiving environmental education. The initiative also offers vocational education and career opportunities to young people from disadvantaged communities.
Ahora puedo pagar el colegio a mi niña, puedo ayudar a mi mamá a comprarle su medicamento, puedo pagarme mis clases de inglés.
The Empowering Communities Initiative ensures that local communities can benefit from tourism in their destination. The initiative focuses on empowering people to turn social challenges into entrepreneurial opportunities and protecting cultural heritage and supporting local creatives.
You tried something you never tried and you were scared to try, and you made it, realized that you can do other things in your life.
The Lively Landscapes Initiative drives sustainable and regenerative agricultural practices and restores and protects natural habitats. The initiative enables sustainable food production and strengthens links with the tourism sector to create better income opportunities.
Estamos conectando directamente con los consumidores que nos visitan, turistas que están en nuestros hoteles, en nuestros restaurantes, a los cuales pues se les intenta potenciar el consumo de vino ecológico.
The initiative also protects endangered wildlife and ensures that reforestation and forest-based experiences are taken to the heart of tourism communities. The Marine Conservation Initiative paves the way to a sustainable blue economy in tourism destinations. It initiates projects which protect and preserve the marine environment in tourism destinations. It also inspires new ways to reduce and reuse waste and create new jobs.
Creatures get stuck in plastic and sometimes they die. I love to see nature that is clean and not with trash.
The initiative also protects endangered sea turtles, especially around nesting beaches. Together, we can use tourism as a force for good in holiday destinations.
Thank you. So your first step becomes the future. I highly recommend you really to use this platform and see and be sure that His Excellency, who is with us today, he will do every single possible thing to make it happen. We are here all to give him all the support and to bring more and more opportunities to this country. Excellency, thank you so much for your support and for inviting us and giving us the opportunity to be here with you. Time for question. Come on, don't be shy, please. We're going to start this very soon. But first, we take a couple of questions. I heard that we have nice questions somewhere in the audience. Sorry? Well, in the first phase, we will have 2,000 jobs, Excellency, 900 rooms. Usama? He's saying 900 rooms, 2,000 jobs, His Excellency. So this is the first phase, and we will hope to go in the second phase and get more hotels. Come on, from the seats behind, any question to that? Sorry? Yes, please.
Sou Vanilda Sarmento, pertencente à Escola de Cozinha e Pastelaria Profissional de Angola. Quero saber se houve alguém que acreditou em si e no seu talento antes de si mesmo.
Phone is off. I showed you in the presentation that was my first mentor, Thomas Rosner. May his soul rest in peace. More question? Please go ahead.
Boa tarde. Joana Sapalo, frequento a escola SPA. A minha questão é, qual foi a decisão que tomou e mudou o rumo da sua carreira?
No, sorry, can somebody help me to understand this, please?
Qual foi a decisão que tomou e mudou o rumo da sua carreira?
I made the decision to take every single opportunity and to work on all the fronts. As I mentioned it maybe in the presentation, I lived 3.5 years in Stuttgart having 3 jobs. 2 shifts in one restaurant, twice in a weekend as a night auditor, and the third one, I was a receptionist for Sunday and Monday. So I took everything, all what I could get, not because of the money. It was really only for the experience, just collecting experience. Here we have one. Which country is?
Morning, I'm from Angola. I'm from Angola, and my name is Ngiengo Daniel, and I'm a Dream Young. And I have only one question. I'm thinking to building something too much big in Angola. And with these opportunities, I think that's giving me too much input to keep with these dreams. And I want to know, I'm young, and we are in a country that we have so many difficulties to young guys have a good business. And what advice do you give to us, especially to me, to keep doing this? Because I'm young and I have a lot of difficulty, and sometimes I'm thinking to give up. And what advice do you give to me for I never give up? I just have my motivation, but I want more.
Bravo.
So thank you.
Bravo. There is one little saying which says, if you can dream it, you can have it. Don't stop dreaming. Okay? Don't stop dreaming. Now, do you use ChatGPT? You use it? You have it with you now? Okay. Let me tell you what you tell ChatGPT. What is my master plan? Where do you see yourself? That big dream you have, what is it? Is it hospitality? Is it supplier? What is it?
Sorry?
What is what you want to do?
I want to do a lot of things.
You see? This is exactly the point. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a general manager.
I want
to be the biggest supplier of food in all the hotels coming up. I want to be something.
But I want to be a businessman, a man that build Angola.
Good. You need to narrow it down. What business? What business you want? How much money you want to make? Yeah? You need to narrow it down to make it to a plan. This is now too high level.
I'm going to think about billions, 3 billions, 4 billions.
Okay, that's good for the money, but how can you get to the money? That's the most important. Yeah. It's good to have it like 4 billion, but what? With what? Do you want to go on the supplier side? Do you want to go on the management side? Do you want to own a hotel? Or what do you want to do? That's the question. If I don't know what I want to do, what I will be, you will never get there. That's the point.
I'm looking more for hotels because I think that side give more money, and I'm looking more for this side.
If you can dream it, you can get it. Don't give up.
Sorry. Thank you.
One more question, maybe, and then we do the raffle. Please.
Boa tarde.
Hello. Someone else is speaking.
Sandra Catraio, consultora de negócios de base digital. Eu gostaria de saber quais as oportunidades na Fundação ligada para a igualdade de gênero no teor da tecnologia que a Fundação apresenta para as mulheres, com vista que ultimamente a igualdade de gênero tem sido um tema pertinente. Então, gostaria de saber quais as oportunidades nós poderemos ter na Fundação para as mulheres no teor do turismo, mas de base tecnológica.
I didn't hear it now yet here, but can somebody help me please to understand this question? Okay, can you please repeat with a question? Sorry.
Certo. Eu gostaria de saber quais as oportunidades, dentre as que já foram demonstradas, ligadas às mulheres no turismo, mas de base tecnológica.
Okay, technology is one of the most important tool which is changing our life again. I remember back in the year 1997, 98, where the internet came into our world. It was not yet completely accessible for everyone, but for a lot of people, and then it comes more and more. That was a life-changing experience. I think today AI and ChatGPT and all these tools which we are having now access to, that's the new generation, and remind me a lot about that changing experience we had 97 and 98. As a group, we have been putting a lot of money to prepare AI to be implemented in our hotel operation, in our flight operation, in the cruises operation, not only for being efficient, but also to release more resources to do more job at the front with guests. So I truly believe that technology will be helping us to bring all the operation in the hotel tourism industry to the next level. Thank you for the question. We have one here in the front. Can we get here in the front? The lady in white.
Good afternoon. So I have a question based on your experience, as you stated of how your upbringing was and the difficulties you faced. As a youngster myself, somebody who's grown outside of Angola and came back to bring into my land and to basically contribute into the economy. One experience that I've basically went through was the difficulty of actually equipping myself, technologically based, or let's say finding the right skills to bring to the country. One of the experiences I had is now coming across a company who, on an ethical standpoint or a moral standpoint, wasn't the best. So what your advice would be for youngsters as us who are trying to develop their skills, who are trying to come back and bring forth to the soil, to Angola, as somebody who was born in this country. But as we heard of a lot of investment, a lot of companies want to come in, and the government can only do so much to assist us. So it's up to companies and investors that want to come to the country and bring forth these businesses, bring forth these promises, and we as the youngsters equipping ourselves, whether it's in the AI field, in technology, or in human resources. We are doing the best to equip ourselves, but when we come across companies who promise as much and don't deliver, what your advice would be as somebody who has also gone through the experience of being in many sectors, informing yourself to be the person that you are today?
This is very, very nice and long. There is 3 topics I can fish out here, okay?
Yes.
I repeat what I said to the gentleman and young talent here, never give up, yeah? When I was looking for the second job out of food and beverage manager, I wanted to be badly general manager, okay? Then I had to make my roadmap. How can I get there? Manager to, from a restaurant manager or food and beverage manager to general manager, there is 3 steps. So first, make your roadmap. Secondly, network. Third of all, you have to start to promote yourself. Nowadays, you can promote yourself differently, like only with CV. Put something together to reach out through social media or through your network or directly to whoever is in the country which interests you. You have to reach out in a manner that they say, wow, you need to bring the wow effect. And nowadays, it's relatively easy to get to that stage because you have the tools which can help you to present something which is exactly matching your expectation. Yeah, I have done for the general manager position, I have done 380 applications. And the last one was 380. Yeah, so I got so much ignorance, nobody responded, or I got like rejection, but it didn't stop me to do further. So this is what I highly recommend you to do.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
One more question and then we do the raffle.
Salomão Sakawa, a minha pergunta consiste no seguinte. Eu estou a desenvolver um projeto voltado à empregabilidade. Eu identifiquei um problema que as empresas angolanas, muitas empresas angolanas têm no quesito na busca de candidatos qualificados. Daí estou a desenvolver o projeto Comoce, que convém conectar jovens às oportunidades de trabalho. Então, nessa busca de conclusão do meu projeto, encontro muitas dificuldades na busca dos investidores. Já comecei o projeto, estou a desenvolver uma plataforma para a empregabilidade que vai conectar jovens que não têm oportunidade de emprego e as empresas que não têm oportunidade de conectar jovens qualificados. Mas não consigo investidores que acreditam no meu potencial, na minha startup. E eu gostava de estar aqui, eu estou aqui para captar investidor. Como podem me ajudar?
I like this vision, what you're saying. So, the first things I will connect you with someone from the team of the Ministry of Tourism. Before he can help you, you need to build up your business plan. Yeah, you have a clear vision. You need a business plan, you need numbers, and you need the presentation to explain to the audience you are addressing to how to do it. Once you have all this, then you can start searching for investor. And in this case here, you need to network. And I would be very delighted to introduce you when we finish here to somebody from the Ministry of Tourism team that can help. Yeah? We have here one last question here in the front. Can we give him the microphone?
Muito obrigado. Já tem todo o plano de negócio.
Mucho gusto.
Será prazer. Muito
Mucho
obrigado.
gusto. We have one more last question here in the front, please. Can we give him the microphone, please? Here in the front.
Hello, hello. Can I?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Diogenes Lenga from Angola. So I'm the promoter of tourism inclusive. That in Angola we have some problem about the inclusive in tourism. And so I have one question that is about that. How can your foundation apply your expertise in technology to make Angolan tourism destination accessible and to end? And what partnership model can build together to implement solutions like allow power, accessibility, maps, online booking, platform that filter for accessibility, hotels, all lot sensors and the signal battery-free hotels, and the position in Angola to met mark for inclusive tourism in Africa.
Very nice. I think today we were speaking before about the AI implementation, right? All this here is a one tool which can bring really a lot of these elements in it. Now, the most important factor here that a lot of platform and companies from the IT and the AI industry, they will be coming here anyway. And this is where they start. For us as a TUI group, we have a very strong platform which we're doing, yeah? And when we go to a destination, the TUI Care Foundation will be doing exactly that what you're saying. That's mean this is an educational opportunity which we pay and in coordination with the government, where we build up around the hotel projects that infrastructure, making small businesses, middle-sized businesses able to participate on different supplies chain to the hotel, prepare even like sustainable food, which we can bring. There is an educational system which we bring into the country to give, for example, for farmers or for ladies in Turkey. We do ladies some education, how can they produce sustainable product which we can use to breakfast or in the room as amenities. So that will be coming with the infrastructure which we build around the hotel, because we are not coming here to teach you. We are coming here to tell you how to do things which you can use in our hotel. But a part of this here, I think today that is a very good point which you are mentioning, because you need as well, if you bring today, let's say 5,000 rooms in the next couple of years, that infrastructure needs to grow with it. Because if you build up a lot without an infrastructure, it will not work. So it's a very good point. Thank you. Now we can move to the raffle. Thank you for the good question, and I can only tell you, keep dreaming and do more. If there is more question, I'm going to be here around when we finish the thing. I don't want to have the session too long. Some people are hungry and they want to go to lunch. So let's see now who's going to be the lucky winner. So I need somebody voluntary from the audience to help me mixing up this paper and pulling the winner. Who can come? Yes, sure. Why not? Yes. So please make sure that you mix everything ups and downs a lot. Oops. More. Now we need another candidate to pull the paper, the next paper. Thank you very much for your help. One more volunteer? We have one. Come on. So, mix again, please. Podemos mezclar? More. Take one. Please read the name.
Júlio Santos.
Bravo, Giulio! Giulio was badly interested in one question. Give it to me. Giulio, come here. Come here. Come here. Thank you. Giulio, you are interested to ask me something. Do you want to have this better or no? Congratulations. This is one stay in Marrakesh in our Tui Blue Medina Gardens.
Thank you very much. I was to answer. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. I come here to looking for investor. I build a platform for short-term rental. I have more than 1,400 users. So I win this one, and I think I will win the investor too.
Bravo. Keep dreaming. Thank you.
One more thing. And I say that I will win this.
So may I ask all the alumnos to come here? Come to me. All the alumnos. Todos los estudiantes, ven acá. Estamos invitando todos los alumnos para venir por aquí. Dr. Bruno, can we go all on stage or better down? Okay, venga. One group picture, please. Yeah. Do you want to take it from there? We stay this way or we stay this way? This way. Yes, thank you. He wants to come? Does he want to come with us here? Okay. Come here, come here. Come here. Come here. Dr. Bruno, please come with us. Dr. Alicia, Doctora Alicia. Doctora Alicia, are you still there? Come. Let's get him here. Todos los manos por arriba, por favor. Ole. Mucho obrigado. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Wissam, for this presentation. We have a good. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Over the past 2 days, we have explored opportunities, forged partnerships, identified practical pathways for tourism-led development and investment.
And yes, as our summit now sadly comes to a close, for our vote of thanks and to officially close the summit, please give a very, very warm welcome to the President of the Global Tourism Forum and President of the World Tourism Forum Institute, Balut Baja. Welcome.
First of all, thank you very much, ladies. Actually, I don't want to keep you too much to wait because we are very packed in 2 days, especially today is third day. But for our young brothers, I want to give some small examples how I start tourism. When I was 16 years old, I was washing the dishes in the hotel. It was a French group. When I was 17 years old, I was selling the ice cream on the beach. When I was 21, I was studying at the university. Then 24, I was receptionist. 26, I get promoted in the hotel. Then it's go, go, go. After then, I'm the chairman of the World Tourism Forum Institute, and then we are doing a lot of projects. So I saw one friend wants to get 4 billion. So when we are speaking, it seems that, or when you are in the box, it seems that it's very hard. But when you start to work, you can see it's not too hard to achieve. This is my story, what I face in my life. I come from, and I never forget one thing I want to explain. I come from down, now in a certain position, but we don't know tomorrow what will happen. But if you start to work and if you continue your life, it will be more easy for everybody. I mean, because your family is supporting, your mother, your father, your brothers, so you are spending all your time. You are going to school, after school you are going to work. So when all the combination, you are thinking that, oh, I can achieve or not. Sometimes you go down, sometimes you go up. But end of the story, life is like this. But when you come at your 30s, 35s, you will see what you achieve at the back. That's why you never give up. It's a funny story. I was studying at the university. It was first year. Then, because I'm not coming with a rich family, etc. So I have to, as well, I have to work at the night. It means I have to go one restaurant and I have to serve the people to get my money as a waiter. One day when I go to the restaurant, I was inside and then one of my friends said, okay, Bulut, there is one order is come, please deliver this order. But suddenly, I get out, I take the table and I get out. After that, what I see, for the men, can somebody tell me what is the worst thing in their life that they can face? Erwander, tell me, what is the worst thing in your life? For example, when you face like this, you are at the outside with the table, with the plate. So I saw the woman that I like is come with one man and I'm serving them. So this is the ridiculous thing. And after then I said, okay, I have to work more and more, then life has changed. So this is a funny story, but as a sum, I trust the youth. So Angola, the gentlemen, ladies, you are doing a lot of things, especially the youth. Tourism, what I observe here, tourism will be more and more, will develop, because we faced this in Turkey. In 1980s, how is the position now in Angola? In 1980s, even worse than that. But now Turkey is one of the number 5 of the top tourism destinations. Egypt, when you come back to Egypt, 15 years ago, you cannot see too much. But now today, Egypt is one of the leading destinations in Africa. When you go to South Africa, 20 years back, you cannot see nothing. Only the 20 years back, only the Europe, certain American destinations and the Asian destinations. That's why what I see, Angola will grow up in 5 years. Even we will not recognize. Even we will say, okay, we didn't expect this after 5 years. But as a sum, thank you very much for 2 days. It's a fruitful event and fruitful meeting. I really appreciate His Excellency Minister Marcio. He is very young and very energetic. His team is perfect. I mean, so this is not our first coming to Angola, and this will be not the last. Thank you very much again for your hospitality. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Badji, for such an inspiring speech. Well, we came to an end, but I hope the conversation about the future of Angola and its tourism growth has just begun. And I hope you will continue with the conversations that you've heard here. I hope you've met people. Laura, over to you.
Yes, thank you so much. And so great to see such a huge crowd at the end of day 2. Really, really impressive indeed. In the meantime, yes, please do continue the conversation. We very much hope to see you hopefully next year. Thank you so much. Have a great day ahead.
And please give one round of applause for all the team making this happen. Angela, Bruno, and their teams for handling this, and all these beautiful men and women around us who helped us feel like we are at home. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.